And we are. That's my baby.
Cause fuck it, what's better to do? And I'ma never give a fuck, cause I'm better than you.
Yay, trying to get a copyright strike. Woohoo, yeah.
That's that good intro.
Right?
Anytime you hear that intro, you're like, oh shit.
Right?
Good times. About
Right.
to be a lit ass stream, baby.
Right?
Oh,
Goodness gracious.
But how you doing? How you doing, Tico?
I'm doing good.
Thank you,
That's
Tico.
Craig.
Thank you, Tico. Thank you,
That's
Tico.
Craig.
Thank you, Tico. Thank you, Tico. I want to give Baron Yam a chance to say how his day is going.
Simple as hell, this guy.
Thank you, Vice President Tico. Thank you, Vice President Tico. Man, that debate wasn't that debate something? We were just talking
Yeah,
about it, so yeah, it was. It wasn't even a debate. It was like two little eighth graders arguing like, oh my god, you should believe me.
I'm more believable than this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sexy, he's not.
He's not. Oh yeah, and her smile. You got to talk about her smile. Her smile is so fake.
Shit, I got a realer smile than she does.
Well, yeah. I mean, she has to go around to like a lot of different places, a lot of different events and stuff. So, she can't. She gotta have that perfect fake smile that just pull out at any time.
True. Very true.
Mm-hmm. I think both sides of the debate today relied heavily on the fact that they would just already believe that they're gonna win.
True.
Like there's just no
Well, you gotta have that confidence.
No, but it's different than urgency. There was really no urgency to either person's argument, or not either person's arguments, either person's tactics. I think Kamala did more of a this debate's gonna go my way whether you like it or not, and then Pence did like a more bait and switch kind of, I'm gonna play the cool man, the G man, the 007, and and
he killed
just
it.
and he did really well, and Kamala was like monologuing like a diabolical villain most of the time. Like I could totally see her as like the vice magistrate of like the progressive states of America, just being like,
the progressive
and we
will
we will fight against the Nazis. Come on, everybody, put your arms up, BLM. And then you just hear BLM, BLM, BLM. And they were probably wearing black and stuff.
Probably. It sounds about right.
What's up to the Savage in the chat? Welcome.
What's up?
But yeah, that's not how you debate. I mean, you have to be a little bit more tactful in that. And I like Pence's tactics. I think he won the debate. If anything, if Kamala, if you can't say like that Kamala just completely dropped the ball, that Pence sort of just like was able to make the president look like a better candidate than she was able. I mean, for Christ's sake, she didn't even, like, Pence beat her to all of the appeals to emotion and all the appeals to some of like the incumbent or the long-standing members of the Supreme Court. Ruth. He was the first person to mention Ruth Bader Ginsburg after she passed away, just like weeks before this debate. And so even though he seemed like ad hoc, to kind of like, he seemed much more prepared.
Yeah, that's when you know you're dealing with a seasoned vet, basically. Exactly. This is typically why they picked him to actually be. This is typically why they pushed for him to be. This is one of the many reasons they pushed for him to be Trump's running partner for the fact that he's actually about a cool balance of Trump. Basically, Trump's this brash, say shit off the cuff, like honest person. You got Pence, this seasoned politician, basically. So you got like a nice balance in the Oval Office, no matter how you look at it. Whereas if you have Biden, you don't really have a nice balance. You just basically have a bunch of people trying to push an agenda and trying to do it.
Yeah, and a bunch of other, because Biden's, he's used to opportunists being surrounding him. Like he's a career politician in that aspect where he has, and that's why I told you, like, it'd be nicer to see Biden and Pence go at it, because they would have probably you would see Biden at a much more tactful demeanor, whereas like you'd also be able to contrast Kamala and Trump's behaviors if they were the ones debating each other. Where it's like in this debate, Kamala was trying to bypass Pence's calm and collectiveness and try to get us to reflect on how sometimes rash and blunt and honest the president is. Which it wasn't an effective tactic, because she has to get all of this information in about the negative aspects of the presidency and the administration, while also trying to persuade us and portray herself as being like demure and being like all well spoken, and getting us to ignore her past, which eventually is going to come out. And a lot of it has already come out, like the stuff that she did as a prosecutor, and that's definitely damning stuff. So I mean, it was all just like she memorized certain things to say, and when she was given time, she used it really poorly. And I mean, that's just like my hot take on it. It just didn't really go. It really didn't go well for her. And there's many times where she could have said something that would have put, Pence at least on the back foot, but she didn't even take those opportunities to do so.
She wasn't. She really wasn't, and that's the sad part. And it's like it was never going to be that way, no matter how much you liked it or not. It was typically going to be one of those, bubblegum fucking. It was pretty much going to be one of those bubblegum debates any damn way. So it's not like it really ever really mattered, because it just was never going to be what you wanted it to be for all intents and purposes for those reasons. Because it just wasn't. It just how it came off, how everything went, how everything was. It was just never going to be what you needed it to be or wanted it to be.
Think about it in terms of the average viewer. Like, what exactly is it? Given the fact that we know why people watch the actual running mates for a president speak and their motivations for watching, it's like, what do we actually expect to get out of this debate, other than just Trump and Biden 2.0?
True. What's up? What's up, Americas? It's one of those things where it's like it was never going to be. It was never really going to be about. It was never really going to be about anything. It was basically just set up. It's just basically like think of it like this: if my children got together with other children that they don't like, and they just went out, they just started beating the shit out of each other. That's basically what it is. Basically, a bunch of kids, high school kids or a bunch of grade school kids, just getting into a fucking play fight on a fucking playground. That's all these debates are, and that's all they will ever be. They would never actually be actual debates, especially if you got like retarded ass curators running them in a first damn place.
Or if you have to go easy on one of the debaters, because they have a lot of things that just disqualify them from even being on that stage.
Yeah, no,
and it's like if you have to justify your reason for being. Exactly. If you have to justify your reason for being on the stage in the first place, then you definitely should not be on the stage.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Because anytime you have to justify why you're up there, you've already. It's basically the same thing when people tell me try to tell me something. It's like, are you trying to convince me, or are you trying to convince yourself? So that's typically the same thing when it came to the debate. Are you trying to convince us, or are you trying to convince yourself? Because we already know you're not qualified, bitch. So I'm gonna need you to step down. And the sad part about that, I don't even think there should be a vice president debate. That's like pointless. Unless you plan on killing off the president of the United States, which is like the only reason why I can think of why you would have a vice president debate in the first damn
Is
place.
I mean that both of the incumbent and the president that's running for the Democrat side, they're both very up there in age. So it's
Yeah.
understandable that you would want to know a
Like
little
I
bit.
would think,
But during the election, though, I mean,
but the problem with that though is like if you're going to have that type of thing, if you're going to have a debate, I would basically have both running partners on the stage together doing it together. That way they can answer and feed off of each other basically and keep it moving for all intents and purposes. That'd be like the best thing you could possibly do. It would actually make them look. It would actually show you what they look like as a team instead of individuals, basically. Because there's no point in having a vice president debate at all in the least bit, unless you plan on doing something that would be considered like espionage and or you know a crime against the United States government for all intents and purposes. That's the only reason why you should be, unless you plan on doing that to like somebody in the government. That's the only way you plan on actually having a vice president speak. I typically think they should have like both running partners up there at the same damn time, and
mm,
typically in a debate together. That way, they're standing there and they're basically, you want to take this, I got this. You want this, you want this, I got this. You want it don't matter to me. I'll take it if you want me to take it. So it's basically like a team thing. That way they're actually a team and they're a cohesive unit and are not really you're not really there to basically do like fanfare service to the other person. You basically
I
get to see
mean,
how they work together.
be honest, if there was three men up there and Kamala, like she would hardly be able to get a word in, like because they would just be going at it. Biden, Trump, and Pence would just
Well,
be
no,
just
because
going at it.
because the sad part about that is if Pence was up there, Pence could have uh Vince could have like at least like leveled the bullshit that went on up there. I can't really speak for the other ones because all of them would have just been at each other's throats for all intents and purposes because that's basically how they act. They act like a bunch of immature kids any fucking way. So Pence would have been the more mature person in the room either way. So Pence would have pretty much just leveled the playing field and like so everybody could play on the grass evenly, and everybody else would have just been trying to attack each other and been at each other's throats. But the neat thing about that dynamic, you would have actually got to see how much Kamala Harris and Biden actually got along with each other versus all that fanfare fiction that they got going on, like they faking like they really get along together. And you would actually see the dynamic between Pence and Trump too. So it's one of those things where
Mm.
like you'll get like a better debate out of it if you actually were to put both of them up on a stage together for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, their ideas really don't. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't think they have good chemistry. In fact, a lot of these things that we're seeing now with like the lack of late night TV shows and people covering and reacting to this in real time, other than mainstream outlets, and then you got people on
Well,
YouTube who
that's
are
because they
doing it.
fired they fired a lot of night TV show hosts though, so that's the problem.
Yeah,
But
I
they
mean,
kept out a lot. They kept out a loser ass ones that were losing ratings. But they fired all the ones with better ratings than the loser ass ones, which kind of sort of pisses me off. Which lets you know how Hollywood's going. If you're going to keep all the ones that ain't got no fucking talent on TV at night, but you want to get rid of all the ones who actually did pull in some ratings and did pull in a nice crowd. Really, dude.
yeah, I mean, and then there's no crowd. Like there is no need for a crowd, as we can see, because these people are more concerned about throwing shots at each other than addressing any sort of American
Yeah.
people and stuff. And then it's like I think a lot. I think like too, you could tell based on this one that a lot of them already know what topics are going to be discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like a lot of time to prepare, and then they don't have an audience to really work off of. So it is. They're like everybody is kind of isolated in their own beliefs, and if we had all four of them on stage, we'd actually be able to see some sort of chemistry or interplay.
Or
Um,
dynamic or any of that stuff for all intents and purposes.
something, and
Yeah.
maybe they could all have a podcast or something, just like the Trump, Biden, Pence, Harris podcast
Or no, it would
episode
be
number
like
one.
it would be the vice president, and the incumbents podcast basically is what it would be.
Vice president, exactly. Yeah, that would be good. And
You'll
like
get to you'll
I
get
don't
to
know,
see you'll get to
mhm.
see how they work together as a team versus all this bullshit and pomp and circumstances for all intents and purposes. Because this some bullshit no matter how much you cut it or like it anyway. All this
Mhm.
shit's some bullshit. It's just a fucking shit show. And it's like annoying and it's a very annoying and it's very embarrassing. at the same fucking time. That the actual vice president is the only person in this whole entire fucking clusterfuck that actually acts like he got some fucking sense. Like, think about that. The vice president is the only person in this whole entire fucking clusterfuck that actually acts like he got some fucking sense.
True. And for some reason, like I keep thinking about that discussion we were having about black pillars because it feeds really well into what we were just talking about. I mean, you got a lot of people who think that they are black pill or that they know something about the black pill or that they've been black pilled or whenever you mention something about the government or something about looks or something, they're like, "Wow, that's so black pill, bro. I'm black pill too." And it's just like they're not really black pill. They're just as they're just as like easily manipulated by hearing something as the next person is. So for
Yeah,
so
they
so
are.
it's like they're being red pilled and they can't accept that they're being red pilled, so they just call it the black pill and then they just
Typically.
they forget about everything
Yeah,
that's
typically
being
it's how it
said.
works. 'Cause a lot of the people that refer to themselves as black pill aren't even fucking black pill, and that's the sad reality of the day when it comes down to it. Because like when I see black pill, I see somebody who's willing to let go of everything and anything, and all his worldly possessions, any loved one, everything under the fucking sun, and move on and actually transcend all this shit. That's what I see in a black pillar. I can't see a black pillar talk about I'm a black pillar, but you want to troll people,
Mm,
nigga. What? No, you're not a black pillar. Because if you're a black pillar, you're above trolling people. Trolling people is beneath you for all intents and purposes, because you're all about a higher power, higher learning, and higher everything for all intents and purposes. Good example of that is the one stream that I talked about. Uh, when I talked about my sixth gate, basically. When I talked
hmm
about when I actually only time I use my sixth gate is basically to keep track of everything and everybody in a fucking live stream. I very rarely have to use my sixth gate to argue a point because I never really have to go that high. I typically stay at my fifth or fourth gate when I have to argue a point across to somebody. I never have to go to my sixth gate. I just basically use it to track everybody and track everything and all the conversations going on around me. That's typically how that works. So at the same time, when it comes down to it, the fact that I don't really have to use my sixth gate for anything but keep track everybody in the stream, that lets you know that I'm more black pilled than everybody else in the stream, no matter how much you like it or not. It's typically how it works. Because a lot of these people will say, "Well, I'm black pill." Well, okay, explain your black pillness. You got these goofy ass emo kids over here. I'll talk about my looks, my chin, my good heels, my this, my that, my this. They all got surgery done. Let it the fuck go, you little bitch. That's simply how I feel about it. Like, you're not fucking black pilled in the least bit for the fact that all you care about is your looks and how you look and being short and all this shit. If you were black pill, you wouldn't even be talking about none of this shit in the least bit. This
Right.
shit would be that shit would be a non topic basically to you if you were really black pill. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of people that want to be out here running their mouth talk about their black pill when in fact you have too many worldly possessions. You have too many attachments to this fucking world for you to remotely be black pill. For you to be black pill, you have to let go of all this shit and let go of everything around you, all your worldly possessions, all your prized possessions, everything, your house, your gold, your everything. You have to let
Children.
it the fuck go. Your children,
Yeah.
everybody, you have to let it the fuck go for you to actually
Parents.
remotely be black pill.
Hmm
And that's the problem that I have with all these black pillars that cry that they're black pill. You're not black pill if you can't let go of none of this shit. You're not black pill if you're worried about how the world's going to go down around you. You're not black pill if you're going to sit up here and be happy that a lot of people are going to die. Because if you're actually black pill, you don't
hmm
have any emotions towards none of this shit, nor do you care, nor do you care about none of this shit for all intents and purposes about living or dying, basically. So you have no emotions, you have no emotional attachments to people living or dying, if they do or not. Like the best black pill, the best depiction of a black pill that I could possibly show you was the one live stream when I literally got on here and said my mother died last month. I just found out this morning, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other, and I showed no emotion. And people on my live stream had more emotion than I did. I go, it's fine. We never really had that type of relationship, so we're perfectly good. That is the essence of what a black pillar actually is. The fact that he can get up here, no emotions, not quit, and keep it moving with content day in and day out. Like shit ain't just happened. Like his mom didn't just die. Like his granddad didn't just die. Like another family member just didn't die. And it's typically what it is. It's like you're able to move on from this stuff because at the end of the day, you're able to let go of everything that means anything to you because it's typically like a relationship. My approach to relationship: don't get into one if you're not willing to walk away from it. The same thing goes for your family members. Don't love your family members if you're not willing to walk away from your family members. That's straight black pill. Like I said, and many times in live streams and behind live streams, if somebody came in and you can pretty much come in and like decimate my whole entire household, I won't even blink because their death is nothing more than a celebration of their life. That's typically how I feel about death. It's nothing
Hmm.
more. Their death basically is nothing more. If there was time, their time to go is nothing more than a celebration of their life, the life they lived.
No, yeah, I think people have a sick fascination with death, and they're either afraid to die or they're like every death to them is like symbolic and it has weight.
Yeah, and the
Like
sad part about
because
that, anytime somebody dies around you and you have some emotional attachment, or anytime somebody around you is actually going to die and you have some emotional attachment and you have to be attached to that person, you're not black pill. You're not black pill in the least bit. You're still learning to be black pill. It's the fundamental difference between being a regular thug and a refined thug.
or
All
like
thugs, all regular
there
thugs,
I sent you that New York Post
all
vid.
regular, oh wait a minute, all regular thugs, all regular thugs, they want to be refined thugs eventually in their lives. That's typically how this works. And the thing that pisses me off about a lot of these people is the fact that you have too many worldly possessions. You have too many worldly attachments. You're too emotionally attached to shit. You're too emotionally close to shit. This is typically why I always say, if the government was to dial me up and tell me I got to off somebody that's close to me, I could do it without any emotion or no attachments, and I could really turn that switch off and go to sleep the next day like I just didn't kill my best friend or a good fellow or a good friend basically. That's typically how this shit works. If you can't cut off your emotions and you can't cut off all your attachments, you can't be a black pillar. If you gotta stock up on all this really possessions so you can survive a world fallout, you're not black pillar. Because
Because
being a black
you're
pillar,
already afraid of the world. You're already
you're
afraid of
already
like the
afraid of the
world
world
ending.
collapsing around you. So now you got to get this gold and silver to basically do all this shit to make yourself feel better about the world collapsing around you. When in fact, I could care less if the world collapses around me. I'm still going to live with the world collapsing around me with all the skills that I actually know and have within me. That's typically what a black pillars be. That's typically what a black pillar actually is. Knowing all the skills that you have and not needing any worldly possessions to do so, making nothing out of something. A good example
So
of that
wait,
is
would you would
here's a
murder
good
me if
example.
the government told you that I was a danger? You just be like, yeah, I'm gone.
Pretty much, yeah,
You just kill me off. That's funny.
yeah,
Oh, I don't know if you're gonna go along with something, but I sent you that New York Post clip of Donald Trump calling a terminally ill patient
yeah.
who is gonna die, and then Donald Trump's like, "You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. You're gonna be fine with the technology. You're gonna be surprised. We're gonna be having this conversation 10 years from now, and you're gonna be telling me." Uh, and it's just a good example of somebody who has who like experiences an emotional weight upon the death. And then a lot of people you hear say like Pence tonight, he was like the Donald Trump doesn't hesitate where Biden does.
Oh, definitely. The
This
sad
all
part
this all
about
this
that
whole
is
kind of thing.
here's
Yeah.
the thing. Here's the thing about being black pill. You don't hesitate for a second. There's not a second thought in your mind when you actually execute something if you're going to be black pill. It's not you don't need gold, you don't need silver, you don't need no really possessions, you don't need your mom, you don't need your grandmother, you don't need your children, you don't need your fucking dog. All you need is your fucking self. That's fucking it.
Right.
That is fucking it. You don't need none of this other shit. All that is nothing more than something that could tether you to this world. There's nothing more than something that you have to actually protect, do extra protection on while you're carrying on your person. You don't need that shit if you got to worry about protecting yourself from other people. The sad part about that, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I would rather walk around with a baseball bat or a katana than walk around with a gun. Because the sad part about a gun is the minute you shoot it, that alerts everybody around you that there's somebody there with a gun and probably some supplies that we need to go overtake. Basically, that's typically how that
Why
works.
would you
When
have a
you actually go
gun?
through,
Yeah.
if you're going through this world, it basically got to treat it like a zombie apocalypse. If you're going through this world, you want to go through this world quietly and quickly as humanly possible with no hesitations. That's typically how this works. Nobody can do that, and everybody wants to take really
Yeah, and
possession
ammo
and
is really
probably destroy stuff.
valuable, right? So you
Yeah,
have
ammo's
to
very valuable. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but the sad part about that is, do you need it for shooting or do you need it for trading?
you probably need it for trading more than you need it for shooting because,
My point
like
exactly.
I said, when you trade bullets, you're less hesitant about letting them go. But if you're shooting them out of a small cannon, then yeah, you're going to be concerned about the noise it's going to make, your
Or concerned about how many
trajectory,
you got left, or how many you're
ricochets.
wasting and shit like that.
Yeah,
How
a
many you
bullet
got wasted.
sold can't come back to bite you unless the guy's got a loads the gun up right there and just offs you as you're selling it to them. Which
Pretty much, yeah.
they can't do it faster than you can pull the wakizash on them.
Yeah, the sad part about that, they still got to pull it off their waist to do it. When in fact, you can pretty much pull a knife quicker than they can pull a gun. I've actually did a demonstration of that for the UEI, where I actually pulled out a knife and actually literally cut everybody before they were able to pull their gun off their hip. All 6 of them. But yeah, it's typically stuff like that. You want to be able to move freely and quickly through the world. You don't need prized possessions to do it. You just got to be very knowledgeable and be very smart about it. Like I said, there's people in this world that can actually take piano wire to a gunfight and come out with a higher body count than everybody with a gun. It is what it is. Train yourself and hone yourself to be a weapon. You don't really always need a gun to do shit. The sad part about that, the sad part, the
You
thing
don't
I love
even need a
about guns in
weapon.
this day and age, the thing I love about guns in this day and age is how everybody always talk about, I got a gun and I'll do this. Well, that lets me know
Well,
that
it's
your ass
it's
can't
never
fight.
somebody that's like highly educated that you hear
Yeah,
talking like you never hear a gun-toting person. The only time where I really hear somebody who does that is somebody who studies politics.
yeah. And the sad part about that is when it comes to a gun, and somebody also, if you, the minute you can actually just resort to saying you got a gun, lets me know that your ass can't fight. So that means I'm gonna punch you dead in your fucking jaw before you pull your gun, and I'm probably gonna pull it and shoot you with your own damn gun. It's typically how that works. So the sad part about that is you got to get to your gun before I headbutt you in your fucking face. And that's the cold hard truth when it comes to shit like this. And that's the shit that really pisses me off when it comes to people always trying to preach certain things and say
Hell,
stupid
I
shit to
mean,
me. The
I
sad
get
part about that is
and I get it, I get it.
I
But
know
I would
more
just
about your gun than you
yeah.
know about your gun. And the sad part about that is by the time you think about pulling it, I've already done pulled it and then pulled it apart and shoved the barrel up your ass. That made you swallow the fucking buckshot.
Mhm.
So
Like
it's that
I mean,
type of
say
shit
what you
right
will about guns, but I actually think like
there. Guns are
the way
nice to
that
have. Guns are nice
yeah,
to
they
have
are.
as a last resort. It's not something that you're supposed to pull out right away. This is typically how you know the society is a bunch of bitch niggas and a bunch of bitch motherfuckers basically. Because
True.
every
Yeah,
single
they
time
all
something,
yeah.
every single time a fight break out, people got to go for their fucking gun because they're a bunch of fucking bitch niggas basically. Everybody's a bunch fucking bitch nigga. Black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Asian. I don't give a fuck who the fuck you are. You're a bitch nigga if you got to reach for your gun before you can throw up some fucking hands. You're a bitch fucking nigga in my eyes. It's that simple. A gun's
Yeah, there's
supposed to be
no
a last resort,
sorry.
not a first
I'm
resort.
just shit posting now. But like, yeah, nothing feels better than like going for your bat, going for a baseball bat, or going for like a katana. Like you grab that and you just get so much power because you're just like,
The sad part about
I'm
this,
about to
to me,
fuck some people up.
the sad part about that is the thing I love about having a knife on me at all times is the fact that I can pull it. I don't have to aim it. I could just cut you and it can be over with before you pull your gun and aim it. I've done it multiple times. The sad part about a person that's shooting a gun is they still got to pull it off their hip. They got to get it ready and they got to aim it at you before they can actually get off the first shot. It's typically how it's going to work. And the sad part about that, if you know everybody, if you know anything about people when they're put under pressure, is they're going to start shooting the minute it comes off their hip.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a difference between being in like a setting where you have to have a gun and actually practicing gun control. Like I think like say what you will about any sort of firearm, uh needing to go for it right away, but like Mega Man with like his whole non-lethal, it's like you don't have to think about where I'm shooting this person if I'm trying to shoot to kill or if I'm trying to maim or if I'm trying to incapacitate or disarm or anything. It's like you just kind of point it in front of you and shoot it to deter somebody from trying to advance. Now, it's not a fail-safe option,
Yeah, it's not.
but it makes more sense as a last resort than just like having like a live Glock.
Yeah.
Now, like both, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to
The great
like,
part about it's all about how you use the damn thing. It's not about how many bullets you got. Because I've seen people take a whole entire automatic rifle, assault rifle to a fucking gunfight and lose to a bunch of people with a handgun. Like literally seen teams of people going with assault rifles and lose to a team of people with handguns. It's not about how many bullets you got. It's all about how well you can use that gun or that weapon of choice that you got and choose to actually point it and shoot at people. This is typically one of those things that people don't seem to get or understand. I can usually tell how well you can use your weapon based on how fast, what you're willing to do, and how fast you're willing to resort to actually using it before actually resort to using anything else. The faster you resort to using your gun, that lets me know that you're not skilled at using your gun. The slower it takes you to resort to using your gun, that typically lets me know. I mean, that's far as long as it's in your holster. The longer it takes you to resort to using your gun, that lets me know that you're very skilled at using your fucking gun. Now, if you pull out your gun and it takes you too long to actually fire a shot because you're hesitant, that lets me know that you're just a scared bitch. And if your barrel passes my head, your ass is dead. That's pretty much how it is. What's up, Mr. Forma? What's up,
oh
Rip?
man, oh shit,
America?
45. Yeah, revamped, Mr. Form.
What's up, Mr. Forma? What's
You
up,
know what?
yo, sweetheart? What's up, everybody?
It's
Yeah,
very, very nice pleasure having you guys here. But
definitely.
yeah,
And
like
back to the actual thing when it comes to black pill. Black pill, you have to be able to let go of every fucking thing. Gold, silver, money, people's lives, every fucking thing.
yeah,
To
social
be true
social
black pill, to be
norms,
true
social.
black pill, you
Yeah.
have to be able to let go of every fucking thing. Everything, anything, and everyone. If you can't do that, you're not black pill. I'm getting tired of hearing all these people talking about like I'm black pill and I can't wait to see the world burn around me and watch people die and people become homeless. Okay, you're not black pill. You're still connected to this world. You're not black pill in the least bit. You might be a little bit of a psychopath, but you're not black pill. That's simply how the shit works. And then you got other people that's talking about, well, I'm going to get this gold, I'm going to get this silver, I'm going to get this stuff, I'm going to get that stuff. You don't need that shit.
Black
If
pill. It's like
if
no.
the world falls down around you, you're not going to need that shit in the least bit. Because at the end of the day, one of two things is going to happen. Either your ass is going to be beat over the head and you're going to be robbed for it, or the price of inflation of this shit's basically going to be overwhelming. That even if you have a lot of that, you're not going to be able to afford what you want to do. And if you don't have the necessary skills to actually live and trade and do anything with commerce, you're pretty much SOL either way. Because the sad part about
Yeah.
that,
Uh,
even in an apocalypse, you still got to find a place to spend that gold and silver
yeah.
without getting
The
your head
AR.
beat.
I think Armchair Revolutionary. He kind of gets close to something when he says when it comes to the election too. And I'm trying to relate it back, but it's like if they want whichever candidate the elites want in, they're gonna put them in.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's like when it comes to certain things that we fear happening that we try to work to prevent or work to survive the outset of. It's like if they want us to survive, then they'll ensure that we survive.
If they don't want us to survive, then kiss your ass, grab your butts and kiss your ass goodbye.
Goodbye. Exactly.
Famous words of Samuel L. Jackson in the one movie. Grab your asses and kiss. I mean, grab your butts and kiss your ass goodbye. Was that? I think that was like the first Jurassic Park. I think.
Ah,
I think it was Jurassic Park, but yeah, it's
Jeff
typically one of those.
Goldblum.
It's typically one of. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson was in the first Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean,
He had a
is there
small
a
part.
good yeah? Is there a good example of like a black pill person in any movie? I'm thinking about like Doctor Manhattan, but he from The Watchmen, but
Yeah,
he
he,
also
he, he
liked that chick and like
yeah,
he had
that's
a
part
lot
of
of
the problem. Yeah,
issues.
yeah, he has a shit ton of issues for a mutant. I would say the only black pillar, the closest thing to a black pillar in movie in as far as comic book characters, I would have to give it to Wolverine.
I see now. I sort of understand it a little bit in a different way now because it
Because
is
typically, a lot of Wolverine, a lot of the X-Men movies that had Wolverine in it, that motherfucker was working by itself or doing something by itself. And if he got involved with
despite
something,
people wanting to help him. Like there's so many people that wanted to like
his
steer
overall
Logan in
character
the
is
right
always he's always a
direction.
loner. He's always a
Right.
loner, and he's always doing shit, and he's always rolling with the most minimalistic shit. Basically, a bag on his back that Lord knows what's in it. Basically, doesn't have any money. He's just on a motorcycle, and he got a little ass bag, and he's basically traveling throughout this whole entire fucking world. That's the closest you can get to being. That's the closest you can get to being Black Pill. I'm not saying he's a perfect Black Pillar. He's not, but I'm saying though, minimalistically, it's all about take what you can carry.
Yeah, he was biologically
Take
immortal
what you can
too. So
take what you can carry that's not going to get you robbed or get you beat over the head or don't take any prized possessions with you because if you go on this journey, if you take all these prized possessions with you, you could be identified. Let it be a locket, let it be some gold, let it be all this shit. You could be identified, especially if you're trying to lose, but especially if you're trying to lose yourself in the world basically and not everybody find you and identify you. The sad part about numbers and gold and lockets and shit like that is you can be identified with lockets, gold, and silver because they all got numbers on them. They're all registered to something. Would you think those computers are just going to go away? Do you think that's going to go away the fact that you bought some gold and silver? That's not going to go away. That's going to stick around and be with you forever. It'd be like having it'd be like having a social security number or a in America or what they call it in Canada or tax number in Canada or wherever they call it in the
tax
UK.
number.
You're basically you're that gold and silver that you buy is basically nothing more than an extra tax number to your fucking name.
Mm, 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 mm.
So the sad part about that, anytime you buy gold and silver, they know you're buying gold and silver, no matter if you like it or not. The government knows you're buying it. At the end of the day, that's typically how this shit works. The sad part about that is like I was saying, for you actually be black pill, you have to let go of everything and all your loved ones and everything in this whole entire fucking world. None of that can affect you. Just like when I made the last stream about my mom dying, I literally got on here and said, "Oh, my mom died," and this, that, and the other, and I showed zero emotions when I said it, and I basically told you what happened, word for word, or that this or that, when I found out about it, the exact date, the time, and stuff like that. And I said basically I had this person trying to call me and text me, claiming that they're my sister, this, that, and the other, telling me that my mother died, and this, that, and the other. And then I got on the next day and basically confirmed that my mother died, and I didn't even show any emotion while it was happening. This is typically how you got to do it to be black pill. You can't have any worldly ties or any worldly emotions or any emotional attachments to anybody to get you. But you got to be able to cut ties or cut the emotional ties to everybody in your fucking life. You got to be able to cut the all ties to any of your worldly possessions, anything that you love, anything you hold close, anything you hold dear to be a black pillar. This is typically why I say
What
I
about
typically typically approach
what about retaining information? Like if you do have to
information.
let go of everything, can you let
You
go of things that you know?
you can't let go of things that you know because you're going to need those things just in case you get into a certain place where you're going to, oh, look, this soil's nice. I remember when I was farming that I could use this soil for this, that, and the other. Or look, there goes some roots. I remember that I got this skill to actually make this root into something, or make this root into root beer, or make this root into like ginger or something like that, and basically go from there. It's simply, or I can eat this root, or I can cook this root down to an actual, I can cook this root down to an actual fucking to actual powder or a actual fucking stock, and I can basically make something out of it. Basically, those you always need. That you always need. Everything that you have around you and on you really don't need. The most you will ever need in this world, if you're going to be going through this world, if you're going to be a black pillar, is a fucking knife and a fucking machete. Knife for protection, machete for chopping down shit.
Oh, and Mr. Former, Rorschach is not Black Pill. He's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's a psychopath. Big difference.
Rorschach's Journal,
Yeah, he's
July
a
2nd,
psychopath.
1968. Today, a comedian
You don't
died.
like using knives. Yeah, I do. Because they make less noise and you can deploy them and hide them very quickly. Just in case the cops come. Like, he
I
got
mean,
cut. I don't know nothing about that.
you guys know this about me by now. I like using words, but because they're the best way to solve a fight before it even starts.
Yeah, Rambo and MacGyver are good examples of fucking black pillars. There you go, Mr. Forma. Mr. Forma came up with two good examples of black pillars. Making
Rambo
something out of nothing, basically. Take two
and
popsicle sticks.
MacGyver.
Take two popsicle sticks and some glue, and you got a hang glider about it by noon, basically. Or
Oh
take fucking
shit!
two popsicle sticks and some fucking wood and a fucking leaf. You got like a fucking cruiser by this
Or
afternoon.
like Bob Ross is like Black Pill about painting.
No, he didn't make his paint out of nothing.
I thought you were gonna say he's a psychopath.
Like
I
Bob Ross
was
is
like,
a black killer
nice.
for the fact that his paints was already prepared for him. Now, if you'd have told me that Bob Ross was a bravery or Bob Ross was a Native American and he made his paints himself, I'd be like, yeah, that nigga's black pill, straight black pill. But he doesn't make his paints himself.
Yeah, I would want to get in. I want to get into like some sort of art, like sculpture or something, where I can even make my tools for the sculpture, like a horsehair brush, make a chisel out of stone, and then just start making sculptures, just wandering and making sculptures out of like the rock and sediment. I would just do that
Would you?
because
He said,
I'm not
yeah.
really into the whole.
Would you say Frieza was black pill?
Goku. I don't even know how Frieza talks about.
He said, would you say Bill Frieza was black pill? I would say Frieza was a
No, because
psychopath.
she's a psychopath. Because Lord Frieza wanted to destroy Goku's planet out of resentment and pure jealousy over Goku's power.
True.
Cell. I mean, it's something out of nothing, right? So it's like, how would Frieza do that? How is anybody in the Dragon Ball universe? If anything, like isn't Omega Shenron or whatever? He would be the closest thing because he can with the Dragon Balls he can make stuff happen that otherwise shouldn't have happened. I mean, who you got? Who else do you have? You have
He's a sharp man. That's funny as hell. He's a sharp man. It's simple.
he's talking about Wolverine, right?
Yeah, he's talking about Wolverine. Is goofy, so like really sharp. And the sad part
Funny.
about that is if you can't make it, here's the thing about stocking up on like ammo. If you can't make that ammo, you're not black pill.
Oh
If you don't
yeah,
know,
if you have to buy
if you
it, like with the
if you have
money
to
that you
buy it,
make
if you have
from
to
working
buy
on the
it, you can't
plantation
make it
through
yourself. You're
frustration.
not black pill, and you're not like black pill at least because
Well, it's like what we were saying about the
to make
DS dynamic. Like
yeah.
if you have to train something to if you have to work to make something happen through exerted effort, then you're not in control over it. Like you
No, you're
literally
not.
have to work. You literally have to work as hard as you can to make it happen. Like when I see people taking their hard-earned money and they spend it on ammunition and like or they spend it on tools and stuff for gardening. It's like you could always make those and you didn't have to spend any of that money that you spent and you could have saved it for like an emergency.
True.
And like I mean it's one thing to like know, like I used to have Skillshare, so I used to like um you know like watch videos on how to do stuff. It's essentially it's a service that's like you pay and then you watch videos on how to do stuff. But like I realize it's like my money is going into it, then I'm earning money to like try to advance my knowledge in something when it's not the most productive use of my money. And it's like, to be honest, like a lot of the times when you think about buying something, you could just not, and you could just survive, subsist without it. But we do it out of
Bob
fear
Ross
that we
was
won't.
purple pill. Go
Who?
ahead. As he said, Bob Boss, Mr. Foreman said Bob Ross was purple pill.
Purple pill. That's funny. Yeah, he kind of is.
Majin Buu. Majin Buu was a psychopath, sociopath.
Majin Buu laughed at the pain and suffering, yeah, and
He was a sociopath.
yeah, there's. I mean, it's not even a fine line between, uh, being black pill and being anything else because it's like unless,
It's a big step to be a black pillar, basically. And the sad
yeah,
part about that, everybody who cries black pill aren't even ready to take that step. Because they're all talking about gathering up all these supplies and shit like that. And it's like, okay, so how are you gonna move with all those supplies now?
it's like I've been stockpiling rice. I'm like, okay, well then that means you're in one spot
Yeah, so how are you gonna move with all that shit now? Well, I'm gonna have a car. Okay, so you're gonna have something that everybody can see you in, and they're probably
and
gonna
wants
rob
to
your ass for
jack.
and
Exactly.
carjack you for, basically. Right. That makes a lot of fucking sense. Well, what do you expect me to use, Tico? I don't know. A motorcycle, motherfucker. It goes a lot longer, and you don't have to fill up as much. And you can
Or a
carry a gas
horse.
can on that bitch. You carry a gas can on that bitch and refill it.
Yeah, why do you need three seats, three other seats,
Like, why do you need a trunk and 3 other seats? Really?
and an engine, like a big ass engine that you got to maintain?
You got to maintain an engine. You got to go find parts for that shit. And if it's a pretty much a world after death, if it's pretty much an afterlife world, like Resident Evil, you're really not going to find much. You're really not going to find parts to replace that shit in anyway. So what's the point?
Kratos from the God of War.
Um, Earlier God of War, I would say yes, he is a black pillar. Later, the last few games of God of War, he's not a black pillar.
Like when he's with Atreus, because Atreus is a rageful. Like I'm playing the game right now, and he like when you beat the first Jotun or the first giant
Mm-hmm.
person, it's like Atreus like runs up and is just like slashing and stabbing at this dude at this giant shoulder, and he
Yeah,
gets like sick. He like tuckers himself out and gets weak because he's so angry.
and the sad part about that, because he's with his son, in the last few games, he's typically not a black pillar. Now, if he can sacrifice his son, black pill.
Hmm. Yeah, so typically, if I'm playing on a harder difficulty and he dies, I just like I sacrificed him. Like it's not that I suck. I was just sacrificing him.
I would just suck. Yeah, right. You suck. I mean, you suck. You just suck, dude.
It sounds like an excuse that like a presidential candidate like I didn't. It's not that I don't know I'm incompetent. I just I sacrificed it for the greater good. I always make the best sacrifices and the biggest sacrifices.
You're sick individual with that shit. The
So
sad part, and the sad part about that, having a horse is actually really nice for the fact that it's a nice source of travel and it's a nice source of food.
true. And a bicycle you could pretty much turn into a generator.
Yeah, if you're willing to pedal that damn long. And the question is, why do you need a generator at that point?
I want to play Mortal Kombat. To practice
Why do
my
you need a
skill.
generator? Why do you need all this shit basically? If you can't let go of all this shit and you got to travel with a car or something more bulky. And I heard a lot of excuses. Well, I'm gonna need something where I can protect myself. Well, why do you need to protect yourself? Do you plan on having to fight somebody? Do you plan on having to get into a fight? Basically, I mean, I'm all
Okay,
about getting into a
so
fight, but if I drive a motorcycle, there's a high chance I don't have to get into a fight.
okay, so I mean, we might. I don't know if we're gonna get deep here or if this just is the end of the argument, but like when you see that all of our governments are spent all this money to like get to the moon and go to space, um, like in one sense, if
She definitely ain't black pill, Mr. Form. I can't believe you even brought that shit up.
who is he talk? Who is
She's
he
a
talking about?
psychopath. You know who she's talking about. I'm not gonna even say
Oh,
her name.
oh, oh, oh! Something out of nothing.
Crazy bitch. That
I
crazy
swear, when
bitch.
she puts on that red dress, she's trying to make something out of nothing. I'll tell you that.
This is a yam.
From MC. Yo, mama black pill. Damn, shots fired. Oh, America's the bell.
Shots fired.
Oh, you talk about my mama black pill. Oh,
Y'all
my
are
mama.
tripping.
Oh, my mama, bro. Oh, my mama. But like, yeah, if you can get to space by yourself and survive, like, more power to you. That's pretty black pill. But like this whole like, oh, mankind will reach for the stars. It's like, really, what do we need a Mars colony for?
Yeah, why
Just
do
in
we need a
case,
Mars colony?
just in case Earth, croaks and dies. It's like, okay, well, Earth's been here for billions and billions of years before us, so I don't know if it's gonna just like up and croak and die. I mean, eventually it's gonna be burnt to a crisp, but like I said, it's a fear-based response. Any sort of prepping or any of that stuff is
It's fair base. It's a fair based response. The sad part about that, you should be able to go out there with what you get. Like a good example, right now, if the world ended tomorrow, I can actually walk outside and I'll be perfectly fine.
not me, 100%, not me.
I didn't even have to prepare. I just grab my book bag and I just keep it moving. That's it. That's all I need
I
is my
mean,
book bag and I keep it moving.
truthfully, I think
And
what
that's
most
simply all
people
it really is.
I think why most people think they wouldn't be ready is because they don't. I don't think they have an idea of where they would go, but there's nowhere to go if the world's over. So you can go anywhere you want. It's like
Yeah. Pick and
it's like
choose. Pick your
pick and
fastest route.
choose.
Pick what your skill set is. Like me personally, no matter where I am in the world, I'm always going to go to somewhere where everybody speaks Spanish, or Russian, or Arab, or Hebrew,
That's a good point. I mean,
or
you
Albanian. Like,
yeah. I mean, you're spoiled for choice. That's different than being like resourceful, like quote unquote resourceful right out the gate, because you've already basically amassed enough knowledge to function well in any environment with people around people.
yeah.
But it's like I think a lot of times people think like, oh, if I can get as far enough away from people, then I can have my layer, then I can have my base of operations.
Not necessarily, because
And
then
it's exactly.
you got the sad part about that, you got to lug all that shit with you, and hopefully you make it there with half that shit that you got with you. If you weren't robbed, beaten, or pillaged before that, before you even got to that destination. Then on top of that, when you get out there, now you got to set up a base of operations. Now you got to figure out who you can trade with so you can actually operate your base and operations. Because I know half these motherfuckers don't got no fucking seeds any damn way, so you ain't planting shit. So what is the point?
Planting shit takes a long time hanging out in one
Yeah,
spot too to wait for that shit to grow.
true story.
I mean, nature plants shit just normally, so I mean, it's like
Well, the sad part about that though is when the world's ending, none of that shit's probably going to be there. Half that shit's going to be pillaged any fucking way. The grocery stores, the farms, the cornfields.
well, I mean, it'd be one thing to admit that you have a skill at pillaging, so that would be your first resort is to, go
Yeah,
fuck some
pillage.
shit up at
And
the
the
start,
sad part about that,
pillage, yeah.
the sad part about that is if you got the pillage shit, now that's going to set you back in your travels because you got to keep on raiding people to steal shit, and to do that,
Put
you got to
yourself
wait.
at risk.
You got to
Yeah.
put yourself at risk. You got to waste time. You got to waste time, energy, effort, ammo,
And
stamina.
you gotta hype yourself up to be able to do that. Like you
Yeah,
don't know what to expect when you go into one of those things. It could be some zombies in there, could be some werewolves in
I'm
there.
keeping it 100. Now there might not be no werewolves, but there might be. You might be geared up to raid and look like a town that ain't got nobody in it. Then all of a sudden you getting shot at by like everybody from all angles. Basically,
Yeah,
it's
some
typically how that
rooftop
works.
Koreans or like
Yeah,
or like some or like you're getting
I like that. The rooftop Koreans. Yeah, it's
some
always the
rooftop
rooftop
Koreans that
Koreans.
just
It's
snipe your
always the
ass and you're
rooftop
like
Koreans that get you.
just like oh, we eating good tonight. Yeah.
We eating good.
Yeah,
Talk,
bulgogi. Oh, Tico,
talk
dark skin
me.
bulgogi.
Talk me tonight.
And it's
Yeah.
like I got no problem with being sniped. If I get sniped, that's the way I gotta go. I mean, honestly, obviously I do some diverse evasive tactics, but
All right, Americas. And it's typically one of those things where like you got to know what you're able to do and what your capabilities are because 9 times out of 10 you trading gold and silver is that's basically like you trading gold and silver would be equivalent to you sitting up here talking about like I got this 70-inch flat screen TV in my house, or I got this this Lamborghini Diablo in my fucking driveway and shit like that, and my house is so big I got all this extra shit. You're basically advertising that you need to be robbed if you're going to have gold and silver on you, basically. Because the sad part about that is if you're going to trade gold and silver, you best be sure that everybody else is paying attention to you, and they're probably going to want to hit you over the head and take your shit. So now you got to look over your shoulders all the time
Here in
for the
my
fact.
garage,
Yeah,
got
you got
my
to look over
beautiful
your you got to
Lamborghini.
look over your shoulder. You got to look over your shoulders all the time because you got resources that everybody else wants. Now everybody else is coming at your neck, and you ain't got that many bullets to shoot off everybody else with bullets and guns too. So it's one of those things where it's like you got to be more realistic about what you can and cannot do. Because I
Yeah.
know I'm not finna sit up here and be trying to be in a gunfight with 16 people talking about I'm going to win this and I'm taking my gold and silver with me. I'm gonna just leave that gold and silver behind and make call it a loss. Because at that point in time, that's going to do nothing more than weigh me down anyway.
Yeah, like the black pillars who don't know when to cut their losses. I
Yeah, because there's a
realize it's
lot
a
of
big
black
thing.
pillars that don't know when to cut their losses, and that's another thing. You got to know when to fold them as a black pillar. You got to know when to fold. It's like, yep, nope, I'm out. Pretty much poor Mark Cuban on that. He says, and for that,
Well,
I'm out.
it's just so not black pill to bluff. Like it just doesn't make sense to be
Because the sad part
to
about that,
try
if
to.
you can't do it, I never bluff on shit I can't do. If I can do it, I'll bluff on it. If I can't do it, then I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. That's basically like that'd be basically be no different from going to prison and talking shit on the biggest baddest person in jail and then end up as prison bitch.
Oh,
Yeah, no, you don't want to do
don't
that.
don't.
You basically only want to talk shit on shit that you can actually do. You never want to talk shit on shit you can't do. And all these people always talk about they got guns. Well, everybody else got guns. I like to see you shoot it out with these guys. And that's simply the type of person I am. I got these 7 people with guns. We'll see who will win this. Okay, you just bad. We're gonna see how bad you are. Fight these 7 people. Well, that's not fair. No, this is the world. The world's not fair. Fight them. That's pretty much how I am. And that's pretty much how it would be as a warlord if I was actually a warlord. Oh, so you're good with guns. Okay, 7 people against 1. That's not fair. I don't give a fuck. You said you're good with a gun. I like to see this happen. Shoot. And that's pretty much how I am. Because I'm able to call people's bluff like that, and I know when somebody can and cannot do shit.
You like test their resolve.
I would test your resolve in a heartbeat.
Hmm. It's a good thing.
That's my new terrorist organization, the Rooftop Gorillas. Mr. Forma.
Rooftop gorillas. That's funny. That's funny.
Because the sad part
But
about
hey,
that, all
yeah.
that shit that you're gonna be carrying around with you, all this, like think about that. Okay, you got to carry around rice with you. You got to carry around water with you. You got to carry around fucking Gatorade with you. You got to carry around all this shit with you, all this food, all this shit, all this gold, all this ammunition, all these guns. How are you gonna get from point A to point B safely and not be noticed? Like, think about that. How are you gonna get from point A to point B safely and not be noticed?
Well, I guess I think it's like a video game where you just have
Yeah, that's what they
inventory.
basically think it is. Like, you just got this unlimited inventory. This is not Grand Theft Auto pimping. This is not Grand Theft Auto. That's not how this shit works.
Yeah, no comment. No comment.
Because now you think you're in a game of Grand Theft Auto. Like, yeah, no.
And I mean, oh, how do I describe that? Well, it's just generally with the whole black pillar thing. I mean, you can't if you can't. And they generally don't like having conversations if they're a real black pillar because they're like, you were wasting breath. I could be using this breath meditating or doing tai chi or like learn
Mm-hmm.
or and so I understand that. I understand that. But then there's other black pillars who just or there's other people who claim to be black pill who are just like talking about all this stuff with like science and knowledge and everything and just they're basically trying to highlight something or call attention to something that they can even that they'll even think is pointless, but they still want to do it anyways, just to show
Yeah,
everybody how black pill they are. It's like, I'm so
or how
black.
smart they are. And that's the sad part about that. Just because you're smart,
Like,
that
come
don't
on.
make you black pill. If you
Right.
can't
In fact,
if you can't
most
let
smart
go,
people are not black people, black pill at all. Most smart people can end up becoming like psychopath or sociopath
true
people because
story.
they know too much. They know too
There's
much
a
about
difference
shit.
between, and there's a fine line between what genius and insanity, basically, is what they say with that. But typically, the sad part about that, even those people that always talk about, see, I'm smart, I can talk about this stuff, and this stuff. That doesn't make you black pill in the least bit. None of that makes you black pill. Like I said, to actually be black pill, you got to be willing to let go of everything, everyone, and everything you love and hold dear to yourself to be black pill. If you can't do that shit, then you're not black pill. If you got to tote around a lot of shit with you because you want to remember people, you're not black pill. If you can't if look, I look at it like this:
Mm.
if somebody was to kidnap your children and your family and hold them hostage, and about the time you show up, if you can't put a bullet in all your family members yourself and then shoot everybody, and like that one dude in the one movie, and say, now you ain't got shit to hide behind. If you can't do that, you're not black pill. You're not black pill in the least bit. You would never be black pill if you can't pull that off emotionally and mentally and physically. I forget the name of that movie, but the dude, they literally kidnapped his family. He showed up and he shot his own family. He shot every single last one of his family members and told them, now you ain't got shit to hide behind. Let's do this like men.
Yeah, I mean, and like, I guess they think like, yeah, they hide behind a lot of stuff. Like, and at the same time, they fight with other people who are not on their level. Like, they stoop down to other people's level. They
The
may
sad
be
part
a
about that is
smart person.
the sad part
Yeah,
about that is you're not smart if you have to fight with people not on your level. You're
exactly.
not
Right.
black pill if you have to engage with trolls. You're not black pill if you let simple things bother you. You're not black pill in the least bit. If you let simple, stupid shit bother you on a regular basis, you're not black pill. That's typically how
Yeah.
this should work. You have
I
to be
mean,
able to let go of everything. Sometimes if you're black pill, you got to check your pride and all your ego and all that shit at the
exactly.
fucking
Be
door.
nonchalant.
You
Exactly.
got to
Just
be
be simply
nonchalant. You got to be
nonchalant.
emotionless. You got to not really give a fuck about shit. Because the sad part about that, people will say, "Well, I'm black pill because I don't give a fuck and I want to see the world burn." You give a fuck because you want to see the world burn. That's your downfall. That's where you fucked up at. The fact that you want to see the world burn lets me know that you give a fuck. The fact that you talk about something, you're talking about this certain topic, lets me know you care about this topic a lot. That's where I go into the emo black pillars. Well, looks and this stuff and that stuff. No, bitch, you care too much, so you would never be black pill. You care way too fucking much about something that means nothing to you. That's your downfall. That's how motherfuckers are gonna get your ass. It's basically everybody has a fucking vice. The sad part about that, it's all about how somebody can identify it for it to be your downfall.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the role of a father, is to like show their son that that like almost like fighting is useless. Like, even though it's like you must train and you must discipline yourself to
Yeah,
fight.
like a good example of that is like all the MGTOW people that always go in there and be trying to, oh, well, this troll's talking about this person. I gotta go engage. Okay, but did the troll fuck with you? No, no, mind your fucking business and let that person handle that shit themselves. Sit your ass down. You're not going your own way. You're following somebody into a fucking fight that you have no part in being in the first fucking place.
Mm.
That's typically how I view those people. Like, okay, so why are you in this fight? Did they pick with you? No. Mind your fucking business and sit your dumb ass down.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, and getting emotionally invested in something
Because the
that
sad part about that, a
has
lot of these
nothing to
MGTOW
do with.
guys get emotionally invested in somebody else's troll fight. They do this shit on a regular fucking basis. Why? What's the point of it? What are you gaining out of this stupid shit? What are you getting out of this? Glory? Oh, you're not MGTOW because now you didn't leave the plantation. You're back on the fucking plantation. Congratulations, dumb fuck. And it's pretty much shit like that. Like if you can't leave that shit behind you, then you can't call yourself MGTOW. If you have to always engage in this shit, You can't call yourself MGTOW. If you have to engage in all this stupid shit, you definitely can't call yourself black pill. It's the nature of the beast. If you're not willing to let go of anything and everything and everyone that you love and everything that you hold dear, you're not black pill. You're not black pill in the least bit. And that's the shit that bothers me. Because I approach black pill from a Vedic tradition.
Yeah, but I just have to do what's right. No.
You don't have to do what's right. You do what's right for your fucking self. Because the sad part about that is because like everybody was talks about like, and this is typically the same concept when it comes to communism. We can't be communists because we're too fucking selfish. End of story. We would never be communists. We can never be fascists or communists because we're too fucking selfish. End of fucking story. Pick a new political stance to take. Basically, the same thing goes for afterworld. Basically, a fallout. Basically, a world fallout. Oh, you're gonna stick together and band together as a team? That's only gonna last but so long before y'all start killing each other for y'all shit. Because at the end of the day, human nature is gonna kick in and survival mode is gonna kick in. And you're gonna want that person dead. That's typically how this shit works. It is what it is. The larger your party, the easier it is to pick off. The more likely people's gonna fuck with your party. Because 9 times out of 10, if you have a large party, that means y'all got a lot of shit that needs to be robbed. That's typically how this shit works.
Like people like hanging with people that got a lot of resources. Like people with a lot of resources, they like associating with one another.
Yeah, because the sad part about that, if this was a world like if this was like a destroyed world, and we'll just say it was a fallout basically, it was a war fallout, and all the countries are destroyed now, and we're trying to get it back together. The minute I see a dude with a bunch of women, I know that nigga needs to be robbed. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? Sick as women after me? I don't give a fuck about no women. I'll cut a woman fast. I'll cut a woman just as fast as I'll cut an animal. And a dude. In a survival situation. They don't mean nothing to me. I don't need no woman. I need to live. Fuck a woman. I don't need a woman to live. 9 times out of 10, that bitch can't cook anyway. So therefore, why the hell do I need to lug around an extra mouth to feed?
I was actually explaining that to somebody. I was like, well, first off, feminists, they need white men in order to like live their lifestyle. So what I got off first.
All these feminists that talk shit about killing white men are all married to white men.
Because I told them, I was like, okay, how exactly did I phrase it? I mean, they grew up relatively normal. Then they go to either like high school or college, where the institution tells them that everything that they lived was a lie, that everybody that they were around with during Thanksgiving was a bunch of racists, and all their ancestors were like just terrible, evil racists.
Yeah. And the sad part about that, Mr. Forma, is you're not the only one. There's a lot of black pillars that actually care too much about their family and people they love altogether. So there's a lot of black pillars that can't admit that they can't get rid of their worldly possessions. It'll say they can, but they can't. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that call themselves black pillars that got too many worldly possessions and too many loved ones that they're not willing to sacrifice. If you can't sacrifice your loved ones, you're not ready to be black pill. If you're not willing to sacrifice your children, the best way I could put it is in a Christian term. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. If you're not willing to do that, you're not black pill. For everybody that's Christian, I basically hit you on a Christian fundamental level. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. It's that simple. If you're not finna do that, you're not going to be black pill. If you can't let your mom go, you can't let your dad go, you can't let your grandma go, you can't let any of that shit go, you're not ready to be black pill. If you can't let your children go, you can't let your wife go, you can't let your girlfriend go, you can't let none of that shit go, you're not ready to be black pill. If you can't let your truck go, you can't let your shoes go.
And I was telling this person, I was like, the feminists, they don't ever let go of anything that they latch onto in life. From the very beginning, like they keep all of their privilege, they keep um, all of their white upbringing. They never go into, whereas like you're much likely to see someone who claims to want to be treated like traditional, who can't cook, can't clean, and yet they still are willing to date somebody who's like much like way beneath their level of privilege, or they're much more likely to date somebody who's a minority, or who's black, or who's Hispanic, or somebody who's unable to give them that lifestyle, because they know that they're deep down that they're not deserving of it.
True story.
And yeah, I mean, I think that people are attached. I think that people are attached with.
Mr. Forma's a nut.
What is he saying? What is he saying now?
This idiot, this ass right here, this asshole right here, talking about Tico Trent takes no questions from the white media. That was in like CB4 or something like that. I think that was CB4. Tico Trent takes no questions from the white media. And it is what it is. Like you got to be able to let go of all that shit. You got to be able to let go of loved ones. You got to be able to let go of everything. You got to be able to let go emotionally. You got to let go of all emotional ties to everything and everyone. If you can't do that, you will never transcend. If you can't transcend, you will be as is.
Yeah, because a lot of people have a lot of my friends actually like one of the, like because I've moved around a lot, so they'll I've had a lot of like last days hanging out with my friends, and they've just noticed that that last day I hardly say a word with them, even if they come over to my house, they brought me some stuff because they knew I was moving. I probably was just like, no, it's fine. I won't, like, I'm not going to take that. You just hold on to it. And I just don't say a word to them. And they're just like, man, I see you. You're just going. You're going to leave. And you're not, you're not really eager to solidify any sort of understanding. You're just ready to go. You're going to wherever you're going to. And that's the end of it. And there's no like discussion on it, and there's not even any wrapping anything up, because you can't really like care. You shouldn't really care about how your so-called friends are going to view you after you leave.
Yeah,
You kind
it
of have to
doesn't
just
matter
be
what
able to
it
leave it
doesn't
all
matter what
behind.
they think.
It
Because
really
I live
doesn't.
like this. Because 9 times out of 10, if I'm leaving, I don't plan on ever seeing these people again any fucking way. That's typically how I treat everything. If I'm leaving, I don't plan on seeing you or hanging with you for all intents and purposes. That's typically how I roll. And the sad part about that, not too many people can do that or pull that off emotionally or physically. Like a good example of that is I got the ability to be okay with somebody and text them on a daily basis and not text them for the next a million days, basically, and they wonder what the fuck is going on. And we always talk about how everybody's ghost game is on like fleek, but at the end of the day, when it comes to certain things, your ghost game is not on fleek. When it comes to loved one, your ghost game's not on fleek.
Mm.
When it comes to your prized possessions and the thing that you're collecting, your ghost game is not on fleek. Because the sad part about that, if you
Yeah,
can't,
you got to be able to ghost inanimate objects. Like
you got to be able to ghost
I
inanimate
ghost
objects.
my phone. Where'd my phone go? I don't know.
Yeah, I ghost
I
my
guess I
phone
can.
on a regular fucking basis. Shit. Half the time I get back to my phone and I realize that Baron Yam called me like 4 times and MGTOW the Wind called me like 10 and shit, and Double I called me like 2.
I ain't never called you 4 times in a row.
Nigga, don't make me snitch on you. Yesterday, yesterday,
uh,
yesterday, and the day before yesterday,
because you
you called
called
me.
me
No,
first.
I did not call you. No, you called me, and you called me 5. You called me 5 times the day before yesterday. You called me 4 times yesterday,
No way.
and
No way.
I'm not including this yesterday, but I'm talking about yesterday as in before when we started the stream at before we started talking about starting the stream at 11 yesterday. You called me 4 times, and before that you called me you call me quite often. Wayne calls me more though, so don't feel bad. So it's one of those things where it's like I get
Mm,
back to my phone and I realize that I missed a bunch of calls because I
mm,
typically don't take my phone with me everywhere I go. There's been times when I've left my phone halfway around the world. And I'll go, yeah, I'll get it whenever I get back over there.
mm.
Don't you need your
Halfway
phone? I'll
around.
be all right. I'll be all right. All I got to do is answer some emails, and it's on my laptop anyway, so I'm not worried about that. There was this one time I was at work, and I lost my phone at work, and it would end up being on one of the incubators because I needed it because the light went out in the incubator, and I was using it, and I set it down, and I left it in the incubator all weekend, and I came back on Monday. I came back on Monday to get my phone. You're right. Don't you want to come back for your phone? I go, it's fine. I'll get it on Monday. I'm going to be there on Monday. They go, shit, I couldn't live without my phone. Yeah, we know. I can. You must be rich. No, I'm going to get my phone on Monday. I ain't say
It
I'm
helps
buying
to
a new
have
phone.
8 phones. Yeah, and it also
I
helps
don't
to have
have
like 8 or
phones.
9
I do
phones.
not have 8 or 9 phones. Shut up.
Oh, I left my phone on the jet.
Yeah. But God was black pill as fuck.
God don't like ugly.
Yeah, God. That you also have Faith version too. If you read the Old Testament, God done flooded the world. God done burnt the world. God done did everything to the fucking world that you could possibly think of to do to the fucking world, and he was okay after doing it. Like it
Oh,
needed. He was like it
I
needed to
actually
be done.
ghosted my PS4, Mr. Forma. I moved back. There was that time where I moved after I graduated, where I moved back to Minnesota, and I left my PS4 at home. So I was just like, I was just like, you know what, screw it. But I did raid my ex's house, and I took my PS3 back while she was laying in the bed asleep. So I took that shit. I was like, this bitch, this is my shit. And then I put it in my backpack and wrote it down to my new apartment. It was like one of the only articles of like uh, that I like kept was like my PS3 and a mattress that I had bought on Amazon. That's basically all I took with me to the new place. Hell, you gotta literally ghost like social norms. Like, to be honest, the whole ordering groceries online thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that really comes in handy because you get less accustomed to having to do certain, like, oh, hey, good morning, oh,
Yeah, the
weather,
sad part about
yeah,
that
the
is
weather's like
the
that.
sad part about that. I really don't order groceries online. Like I get my rice from
Hmm.
Family Farm. All the rice I get is from Family Farm. So I really don't need a grocery store in the least bit.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely take advantage of it because it's like there's nothing like not having to go into the grocery store and just having all that stuff delivered to you.
Hell, I even get coffee for free from my family.
Yeah, I stopped, but I started this stupid energy drink stuff, which like it turns you into a just a fucked up jittery superhuman. Which I'm like, this is great. This is great. I can do more streams. This is awesome. It's like I feel invincible right now. I feel like hidden. Sorry, I'm probably
Just because his ass will always be hopped up on fucking energy drinks. That's why.
yeah, but then he talks like this. So he's like, I'm wired. I'm wired right now, or you could not be wired. Like,
That's because he's crashing. That's why.
he's the only person I know who talks softly but types in all caps.
Yeah, no. Well, the sad part about that, you could tell when he's actually on his jittery high because he'll be a little bit louder and be talking a little bit faster. But you typically can tell when he's starting to crash in a live stream because he'll start talking soft and shit.
Or he falls asleep.
Or he'll fall asleep, yeah.
I really don't like this feeling, like, because even though it makes it like it increases like my productivity, but it doesn't actually help you to think clearly. It just helps you to do things.
It will never help you think clearly. That's the point of energy drinks. It's all about energy, getting you the temporary energy drink the temporary energy that you actually need, basically, or that you
Well,
want,
yeah.
not need, basically.
Well, yeah. It's definitely a choice. It's definitely a choice. Like, you could just deal with it and then just like slog through the day, or you take an energy drink and then now it's 4 a.m.
Yeah. The sad part about that is I could do that same damn thing with coffee beans and not even roast them. I mean, not even make coffee out of it,
Just
and
munch on
not
it.
crash in the process of doing so.
Mm. Yeah, well, like, yeah, it's like, well, that's more like that's more like you're not weaning yourself off of, but it's like a gradual. it's like a gradual high from the coffee beans whenever you like consume them. But this one, it's like the button, or it's like the remote control from Click, where you just hit fast forward and then like your
Well,
day
now
is
the
already
sad
like
part about that, you have to wean yourself off of those sugars more than you have to wean yourself off of regular coffee. Now it's different if you live in America and you're drinking coffee. You're going to have to wean yourself off of coffee too. When you live in Costa Rica and you drink coffee, it's pure coffee. There's no additives, no extra shit in it. It's just coffee. Like typically, it's the same thing. What I was telling you about my granddad. My granddad used to have these little pouches where he used to shove coffee beans in, like almost like chew, and he'll put it in his cheek basically, and it'll be great for the rest of the day. They literally used to put like coffee beans in pouches and put it in his mouth like his dip.
well, I mean, like I'm dealing with what Mr. Form was talking about right now too, and it's like at some point, all of the good conversation and stuff, it does dry up. It does dry up, like, because you get, of course, every interaction's like brand new, and I'm starting to sound like a freaking corporate drone or something. But it's like, oh yeah, I'm thinking that it's my so and so's birthday. Oh, it's so and so's birthday. Yeah, so we're gonna take him there. It's gonna be good. Oh, we'll have fun. It's like at some point that all gets really, that just, I get burnt out on that. Like I can't even talk like that to people. I,
Yeah.
but I mean, I get get what he's talking about too, because it does feel nice to be well liked in your community, and it's like you can't divorce that from, you don't really necessarily divorce that from the black pill. It's kind of like how you were describing it to me earlier when I was driving home. It's
Hmm.
like if you work at a job just to make money, not to spend it, but because it gives you sort of like a purpose, like a purpose in life for the time being, then you get, you don't, it's not about getting fulfillment out of it. It's about just, it's about having as little, it's about exerting as little like brain power on actually sustaining yourself as you can, like, because no one wants to think too wants to be thinking too hard about, you know all these decisions
Here's the
that you
thing.
got to
What I,
make.
what
And
I basically was saying is like the more you invest in your job and the more you need your actual job, you're not really black pill. In other words, if you just go there just to if you go there just to actually just pass time. Like I know a lot of motherfuckers that go to work just to pass time.
right,
You go there just to pass
exactly.
time.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing else that I could see myself doing right now.
Like yeah, like I was gonna go to the park, but it's raining. Fuck it, I'll go to work.
Hmm. It's like I wanted to get some hours. I know people that do that. They just like, I
Well,
was
no, I know
bored.
people that literally was working that day, and if it wouldn't have rained, they would have went to the park and called off from work. It's like legit. I know people. I knew. I actually worked with a guy. He literally was. He was actually on a drought, and he had blue balls basically. I remember the one day he called in to work, and I answered the phone, and he goes,
I'm
"I'm
having
about to call off
sex.
from work. I'm having sex. Why? I'm having sex." I go, "Okay, I'm not going to tell him that. I'm not going to tell him that. I'm going to tell him something. Such and such can't come to work because he's sick. Meanwhile, he called off because he was having sex because he was on a drought and he had blue balls. So that's typically how that ended up working. He didn't get fired. If I'd have told me
Yeah,
he's having sex, his ass would have been fired.
looks, bro. What if he's like, I can't come in, my looks and my status,
I'd have fired him
and
on the phone my damn self, and I didn't even have the power to do
you're
it.
like, you know what? Don't even bother coming in.
Don't even bother coming to work. You're not even supervised. It doesn't matter. Don't bother coming to work.
That's funny. That is funny. I am done. I am done. I got no more left.
You
You want to
basically have
invite?
to. You basically have to be able to let go of all your prized possessions and your really deeds and everybody and everything you love. If you want to be black pill, you can't be up here talking about my mom. You can't be up here talking about my dad, my children, my none of this shit. You got to be able to let it go.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, when you do that, you realize there's way more that
There's way more
surrounds
to
you
life.
than.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's way
exactly.
more to life and there's way more to your survival than anything. Because the sad part about being black pill is you're never really depressed. You're just okay with everything.
Hmm.
You're not overly excited about like people dying around you, or you're not overly excited about watching feminists die and shit like that. You're just okay. You're just there. If you
Hmm.
watch it, you watch it. If you don't, you don't. You're basically going to continue on your journey for all intents and
Or
purposes.
when you said when that woman, I told a story on the last stream where somebody was telling me about the anniversary of the Mandalay shooting and how people got. She was like, and somebody got stabbed outside the hotel room. I was like, oh, nice. I was just like, and she was like,
Oh, nice.
she was like, yeah, and then I was like, wow. I mean, there's so many ways that I could have kowtowed or simped or been like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, at least you had a good time, or the rest of the week went well, didn't it? Oh, yeah, well, I got her flowers because she was feeling down. Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Let me just suck your dick some more. And it's like, no, come on.
And it's one of
Just,
those things where it's like you got to be able to let go of everything. You
mm,
have to. If you can't, then you won't. You're not. If you're not willing to let go of, if you're not willing to let go of anything, you're not going to be Black Pill. You'll never be Black Pill. You can only dream of being Black Pill. Like I said, I've actually said this many times in my live stream. If the U.S. government told me today that my son's going to grow up and be a fucking head of a terrorist organization, you best believe that he'd be smothered in his sleep the next day.
damn, why you gotta throw shade on terrorists like that? Damn, that's messed up, man.
I'm just keeping it
That's
100.
sad.
If he's going to be head of a terrorist organization, you best believe my son would be smothered the next day.
Hmm. I mean, also, yeah, like, because I don't think that you have, like, because being depressed
Like,
means,
Glasgow, I love you
oh, I
dearly.
have
But
no
you got
one.
to take this pillow, Pimpin. Put it right over his face.
I didn't do
Anything.
anything. I played
Relax, Glasgow. Just relax. legit, like legit. Like I don't care. Like you got to go. Like oh, he's going to be a future. Okay, we got this.
Warzone. Or where do you see where do you see women in playing a part in the black pill journey?
They they won't. They won't play a part in the black pill. They will never play a part in the black pill. Basically,
No, I
women were
mean
pretty women
gender is
when it comes down
useless.
when it comes down to it, it'll be one of those things where like it'll be one of those things where like it'll be one of those things where women will basically their part would be basically trying to get with the a man that could take care of them who got resources. So typically, you want to be the man without resources, so you ain't got to worry
So
about
you
dragging
don't
them.
have to take nobody woman
You
around
ain't
you
got to worry about that
exactly.
because I look at it like this. I'm not fin to take nobody with me. Every man for themselves. Even in my own household, every man for their fucking self. And the sad part about that is, if one of my children are willing to follow me, I'm willing to kill one of them because, like I said, every man for themselves. We not sticking together. Um, and that's basically my thoughts on it when it comes down to it. Because at the end of the day, if you can't let go of that and you need them to survive, you're not ready to survive in this world on your own. You're basically a domesticated animal.
Mm.
At that point, you're nothing more than a domesticated animal. If you need all these people or all your loved ones or all this extra shit and all these extra amenities or all your worldly possessions or prized possessions, you're nothing more than a domesticated animal. That
Hmm.
goes for men or women. You're nothing more than a domesticated animal. And the sad part about domesticated animals, they get picked off first, or they fight each other and kill each other.
Hmm.
That's typically how this shit works.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I'm thinking like, yeah, why would you like pay rent to somebody who you're living with? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like I'm not starting to like think about stuff like why am I contributing the way and do I like how do I feel about the way that I'm doing it? If I just pass it off like it's nothing, then I'm ignoring a glaring problem. But then if I like consider it and I'm like I make the decision to do it and I have a plan of how to approach it and how to conduct myself properly when I'm doing it, then I mean, at least I'm aware of what I'm doing. I can't, and I'm not in a delusion about like, oh yeah, I'm so independent or this, that, and the other, or I'm I'm fighting back against. It's like, no, you're not fighting. You're basically just resting on your laurels,
Mm-hmm.
or you're basically being complacent while a bunch of shit is going on around you, and pretending like it's like everything's fine.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's like that. That kind of stuff just like makes me upset when I hear other people who just like want to say like, oh, I'm doing, or I'm such an independent person. I'm doing. It's like, well, you rely heavily on other people to make sure,
You're okay,
and
yeah. Like
and you're
you're always at the
always.
supermarket, and you're one of those people that was crying about not having toilet paper. You're not independent. You're not independent in the least bit. And that's the cold hard reality. And it's like you get a lot of these people who will sit up here and talk this good game,
Mhm.
and they're not about shit in the least bit. It is what it is. Like I said, like yeah,
Yeah.
what do you say? Mr. Foreman said, literally savage, bro. Literally savage. No, sweetheart, not the kids. Yes, the kids. Yes, the kids. And it is what it is. It's like one of those things where like people can't accept this. People
Mhm.
can't accept this about themselves and the world around them, basically. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter how much land you own. When the shit goes to shit, that land don't mean shit to anybody else who wants it or wants to kill you for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, trust me, if your house isn't a sought after asset and stuff, you have a while or you have a while to like gather stuff and get ready to move. But you better be ready to move because
You
that's
better be ready to
a
move, and you
house.
better be
A
you
house
better be
is.
ready to move before everybody show the fuck up. Because the minute when people start showing up, that's going to look like a an apocalyptic Waco, Texas, when they show up at your fucking house.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a massacre.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a massacre. There
You
ain't
do
there
not
ain't
want to
that
be
many
wait.
guns. There ain't going to be that many guns that's going to save you from the onslaught that's going to come from the guns that's going to shoot at your fucking house and everybody in it. So you better be ready to move, or you better be ready to sacrifice people in your damn house.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how that would help. Just ghosting them and leaving them, but they could always come back and fuck your shit up. Or if they knew where you could have gone, somebody could
Well, the sad
torture
part
them
about
and get
that,
that information from them.
well, no, because you don't tell them where you went.
No, like anything can be used
That's the
against you.
thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Why do I care that they died?
Well, I
And
wouldn't, because I wouldn't be telling them, and I wouldn't be sharing with
I ain't
them
telling my
anywhere I'm
children
going.
shit. If I'm leaving, I'm leaving. If you want to stick at the house, you stay at the house. You could die. I'm not coming back for any reason. You can't use my children against me because, like I said, I'm more likely to say fuck it, shoot them. We got your children. Click. Now what? I hung up on your ass. What you gonna do? Call me back and tell? I don't think you're taking it serious. Click.
Oh, now I'm thinking about that one time where I was like, somebody was sending me really cryptic PSN, like PlayStation messages, and I was calling you. I was like,
Mr. Foreman's a nut. I'm strong and independent. Can I borrow $1?
I was
Yeah, that's
call,
pretty much
I
that's
was
pretty much
calling you
people in a
like
nutshell.
I was calling you like I was like kind of upset. I was like, why would somebody be trying to like send me all this cryptic messages and stuff? And you're like, well, it's probably just somebody who's just trying to mess with you.
Pretty much that's what it
And
is.
it's just like, don't pay attention to it. Don't acknowledge it. It's not a problem. There's no issue. It's like if you didn't expect this, you're dumb for not expecting this. It's basically
Yeah,
how I look at it now.
yeah, because you can't
Meanwhile,
be
you
worried
got
about.
people in the yeah. Meanwhile, now you got people in the manosphere who are just like, it's like, yeah, come hang out. Yeah, all trolls are welcome. This is great. Let's all get down. This is great.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
much what it is.
you know, it's like
And it's one of those things where
it's a
you
completely
can't even be
opposite.
mad at your trolls because the sad part about that, the more you have friction with your trolls, the more you're gonna bomb head, the more they're gonna fuck with you. The more you welcome them in, confused and lost and wondering what the fuck is going on.
Like, why are people so nice to me?
Yeah, that's typically how it works. So if you have trolls, you basically just let them in, let them come in, and let them behave. Let them either act like stupid ass kids, or you basically let them behave yourselves and act like human beings for all intents and purposes. They got two choices to basically in your live stream: act like an animal or act like a human being.
You act like an animal, you get treated like an animal.
Literally, if you act like an animal, you get treated like an animal. I'm not gonna block you. I'm not everybody talk shit on you, make you feel this small. Pretty much how it works. So this is typically why I invite all the trolls into my streams to watch my streams for this reason, because I don't really care what they got to say. The more you buck them or block them or do all this shit, now you're just handing them more ammo and information so they can come back to you and talk shit on you. The more you let them in and let them talk their piece, they ain't got no ammo on you. They're like, oh well, I wasn't expecting that. Damn, I'll just go home now. And it's basically what it is. Like, I'll just go home now. Fuck it. You're supposed to be upset with me, and that's simply what it is. Like, your trolls want you to be upset. They want you off your game. They want you to be bothered and be upset with them being in your live stream. It
Okay,
is what it is.
okay, wait.
Like a
So
good example, like a good example of that
Go
is
ahead.
like a good example earlier when I was doing that live stream on when I was doing that live stream about like daycations. I had this idiot in my
Yeah,
stream.
Josh or something.
Yeah, I basically counted him out for 5 minutes. So I
All
didn't
I
block
saw
him.
was like view deleted messages, and it was a bunch of sweaty face emoji or something. Like it
It was
was like
like
what?
it was like hot, sweaty as face emojis and just him typing random retarded shit basically. And I just timed him out. I didn't block him. I timed him out. So he could have came back anytime he wanted to, but he didn't. So he got the message.
Yeah,
Because it literally said
apparently.
it literally said such and such was timed out. 5 minutes. If you actually read the comment section. And it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna block you. I'm just gonna time you out. Put you in a timeout, make you learn your lesson, you can come back in 5 minutes. What? Because I'm not giving you
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not giving you ammunition to for you to want to say some stupid shit about me. I'm not going to give you the pleasure or the joy to be able to say stupid shit about me. I'm just going to time you out. So you can't. So the minute you go and say, "Well, he blocked me," yay! Well, no, I just timed you out, pimping. I timed you out. Big difference between being blocked and timed out. That's simply how it works.
hmm what do you think about like not like given what you just said? Because like, what do you think about like all the scientific research that's done that's then like becomes like or that people because you look at like a majority of scientific research
Yeah, I look
like
at a
it's
lot of
pretty much
scientific research, and I do a lot of
it
scientific research.
yeah, I mean a lot of it is just hidden, a lot of it is or suppressed or edited, but like the stuff that gets out to the main population, like whether it be like social research or like focus groups or interviews or surveys or something, or if it's like actual studies of like drugs or product cosmetics and stuff, all that
Mhm.
stuff is basic. And people like to say that black pill is about like understanding science and stuff, but it's like a lot of scientific research is done by people who are like dependent on society and stuff. Like they're doing
Mhm.
it
Because the
because
sad part about that,
somebody told them to study.
all scientific research depends on somebody financing it. Scientific research can't be done if nobody's willing to actually give finances, throw any money behind it for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, if everybody's a minimalist, then there's no such thing as scientific research.
If you were doing the scientific research, you would have to literally do it illegally.
Oh, I guess so. Like just trap a bunch. Yeah, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Just like, and it would be
basically,
only you couldn't
I'm
peer
sorry,
review it.
it wouldn't be considered illegally. It'd be considered unethically.
Yeah, because technically I could just walk around and say fuck you to everybody that I see on the street, and then be like publish my findings, and like 9 out of 10 people reacted negatively to me saying fuck you, or something that's like that ridiculous or that or you could do something that involves a little bit more, yeah, like social, like disrupting social things. Like you could sexually harass people without their consent and then study their reactions and try to come up with like a valid conclusion.
Yeah,
But it
pretty
would be
much.
pretty, yeah, it would be highly unethical.
Well, no,
But
because sexually harassing people, it all depends on what you. Because the sad part about sexual harassment is it's all about perception. It all comes down to perception.
mhm. It's like some
So,
people like
so like
being
a
sexually
good example,
harassed. Yeah.
like a good example of that is I might slap one woman's ass and she's okay with it. If I slap the next woman's ass, she's not okay with it. You see what I'm saying?
Totally,
Or
totally, yeah.
I can have sexual images in my locker, and one woman walks past it, she's not okay with it, but the other women are all okay with it. You see what I'm saying? Or another good
Hmm.
example is I actually have a friend, and I hate to admit this on live stream because I know she's watching, so I'm not going to say her name.
Hola, hola, buttercups.
No, they're not those friends. I have this one friend who is okay with okay with saying sexual things during text messages and or having her ass slapped and or sharing photos. So it all depends on what sexual harassment is based on the person.
Okay, okay. Saying sexual things over text.
Yeah.
Be like, ah, ha, 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 ha. Hey, you want to go to the
Or
grocery store
sending
later? Be
or
like, I
sending
hate
or
grocery
sending
stores.
or sending sexual suggestive photos and all this other great stuff.
Oh, okay,
And
got it. I
and
understand.
like they'll say sexual stuff like, um she'll say stuff about me or to me basically, and it's one of those things where I just brush off because I'm a smart ass any damn way, and I'm pretty much not going to really do anything or say anything about it because I'll just say yeah whatever. And like like she'll say shut up, I'll say make me. She goes whatever fuck face. I go yeah whatever. She called me one time. She called me wet behind the ears. I said the last time I was wet behind the ears was the last time a woman sat on my face.
Hmm. I hate I hate whenever women say because women always make a conversation sexual, but anytime you're
Yeah,
around like some simp, they're like or like on social media whenever you see whenever a girl does that, they always react so like over exaggerated. They're like, oh, wet eggplant eggplant, or oh dang, she actually said that she would finally a woman's honest for once. It's
and
like shut the fuck up.
answer no sweetheart's question. Yes, I would break your heart. Yes, I would break their heart in a heartbeat.
It's like, dude, give me a break. You know that women always will try to divert a conversation to being sexual. So don't act like this shit is like it's like nothing new under the sun. Basically, is what I want to tell them. It's like there's there's nothing that you can. There's no reaction that you can give a woman talking sexually that's gonna make her any more interested in you. So just shut the fuck up. You're pissing me off. Because I get OCD about the weirdest stuff, and it's always like has to do with people overreacting about something. Like if they give me something and then I'm not super excited, and then they like make a big deal that I'm not super excited. I'm like, okay, now I'm actually pissed that you tried to give me something because I know that you're just trying to get me to like show something or give you something back. So I know that it's hollow. I know that your gift is hollow for that reason because of the way that you reacted to me not reacting. And
Yeah, pretty
that's
much.
to yeah,
Because the sad part
typical.
about that is like I typically don't take gifts from other people because I know if I give somebody something, I want nothing in return. However, I don't know what that other person's motives is, so I typically don't take gifts from that person because I don't know what their motives are. I don't care if you're my best friend. I'm not taking a gift from you because I don't know what your motives are. I'm not taking gifts from anybody, especially family members, because I don't know what your motives are. But I know if I give a gift personally, I know I have no motives behind it, and it's like, okay, look here. It's basically either because I don't want it, or you need it, or I just don't need it at this moment in time,
Well, I mean,
and I
like
can go and get another one.
you're a psychologist, so it's different. But like, I just have a theory that human beings are completely oblivious to other human beings' needs, and they just project what they need onto other people.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much for the most part. Like, there are some human beings that are very intuitive, but most human beings aren't as intuitive as they make themselves out to be. Like a good example is like I'm a very intuitive person, and I'm very good at reading people and understanding a person's capabilities within the first what like the first couple minutes of me actually laying my eyes on a
Meeting
person.
somebody, yeah,
I don't even have to meet the person. I can just lay my eyes on a person and look at the person and go, yeah, I understand that person.
or hear
I
their
could
voice.
or hear their voice and I can understand them psychologically. Or
Mhm.
anything like that for all intents and purposes. It's basically what I was
Like
saying, and
to this day, I
it's
still
basically what I
haven't
was saying,
watched
and
the
it's
Tommy
basically what I
Laren rant. I haven't watched it, but I pretty much know what the bitch said
yeah,
for the most
yeah,
part.
you pretty much know what she said.
Yeah,
But the sad
exactly.
part about that is basically what I said in Money AD stream about we were talking about we were talking about MGTOW and stuff like that, and we are talking about women and men and base like that and couples. And I remember him saying, the one guy said, well, tell me how long Money AD and his girl's gonna be together. I go, I actually never seen Money AD and his girl in a stream. This is the first like I've heard her in the background, but I've actually never seen her in actual stream with them. So typically I can't really tell you unless I'm actually watching them or seeing them in person how long they're going to be together. Money AD like, oh, don't do that, pimping, don't do that, don't do that, pimping, don't do that.
Well, Money
trying
AD
to
can
put our
read
relationship
people.
on blast and shit like
Yeah.
that. Don't do that. But like I said,
Don't do
if I was to see him in
that. Come
person,
on, don't
come
do
on,
that.
yeah, yeah. He basically was. That's what they say you're saying. But the sad part about that is, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, if I could look at a couple and literally look at the one couple, one of the person, and I can literally turn to the person that's going to be done wrong in a relationship and tell them, look, you might want to get your shit in order because your ass is about to be left. And I've literally done that multiple times.
Well, and it's hard to say that because, like, with relationships, there's usually never somebody who's getting a lot out. But I mean, a majority of dynamics now, there's always somebody who's, and you're right, you can definitely point that out and tell a person, but they're not always gonna listen to you when you're saying that to them because, especially if you're blunt, because they'll just think that you're joking, or they'll say you don't
Well,
know
no,
that, or
well,
yeah,
no, because when I'm blunt, people tend to either look at me one or two ways. Either I'm an asshole, or they tend to
yeah,
stop
yeah,
and listen. And typically, if I'm joking around, I'll be joking around. But the minute I get blunt, people tend to go, "Okay, fuck it. Okay, Tico's being serious right now. Okay, we got to listen to this shit because apparently,
mm,
yeah, we got to listen to this shit because this nigga's serious." And that's typically how it is. When I'm blunt, people tend to always stop and listen to me. When I'm joking, they typically stop listening and they think, okay, everything's going to be a joke. But the minute I get serious, that people stop and they actually stop to listen to me. And that's typically one of the things that I've learned about myself. The more of a dick I am, the more people listen. The less of a dick I am, the less people listen. And that's typically how it works. And it's basically it even goes from my videos too, because I do that on purpose half the time too. The more I'm being a dick in a video, the more people actually watch my videos. The less I'm being a dick in a video, the less likely people are going to engage the video and watch the video. It's pretty much how it works. And I know this. Just like when I get angry in videos, more people watch the videos when I'm angry than they do when I'm not angry. But a lot of people watch a lot of people stay engaged. I mean, and even when I'm angry, more people stay engaged for the whole entire video when I'm angry versus when I'm actually not angry and I'm just being silly. And that's typically how it works because I know this stuff. Because people will say, "Well, Tico, you should be more funny or be more silly," and more people will watch your videos. No, if I'm being a dick, more people watch my videos than me being silly. I know this because I look at my algorithm and I know how this shit works. Anytime somebody was being a dick in the videos, those videos get more views and are watched a lot longer time wise. When I'm being
oh
silly and
yeah.
funny,
Slapping
they
hoes,
tend,
burning sips naked, Friday Night Blaze,
yeah, yeah, right. What's up, the host Vernon says naked? Yep.
burning sips naked,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's definitely anytime there's just flat out puerile ignorance. That's when people like to watch because it's like a train wreck that they can't look
Mm-hmm.
away.
Because the sad part
And
about
it's like,
that,
let me
and the sad part
clarify
about that,
something, but let me
I've been
clarify
always,
something.
yeah. The sad part about
You
that,
haven't let me speak. Yeah, because
whatever.
you're saying bullshit.
Yeah, they're saying bullshit. And the sad part about that is typically I don't ever say I don't never and even with those streams, if there's nobody in it to actually be on the receiving end of me, the streams where I'm being a proper dick, they get longer views for the fact that I'm being a dick and you gotta swallow this shit whether you like it or not. Either take these black pills or these red pills or get the fuck out the stream. Basically is my attitude when I'm actually doing a lot of those streams. So typically like, oh, this nigga, whoa, nigga, slow down, slow down. You ain't gotta shove these pills down my throat, nigga, calm down. And that's typically how the people are in a lot of those streams. It's typically like when I was talking to the one idiot in the server about like my videos. He's like, I don't like how you edit your videos. I go, but you watched it, didn't you? He goes, yeah. You watched all of it, didn't you? Yeah. But that's besides the point. No, that was the point. Thank you for watching the whole fucking video, you idiot.
The more you know.
Because I edit my videos like that on purpose. Because you've ever seen a lot of my videos, they'll speed up and it'll slow down. It looks like a scary movie, basically. They're edited just like a scary movie, basically. So you'll see me where like I'll be talking, I'll have like the voiceovers over it, but I'll be talking and like they'll have like videos of me and the actually talking behind it, but they're all quiet. And you'll see me doing something, but you'll see it speed up and zoom into my face. Then it'll like speed out and zoom out outside of my face, basically. And it's one of those things that's meant to be like a scary movie, like like The Ring or something like that, or The Grudge, basically. It's meant to be just like that. It's like it slowed down, then it sped up, then it slowed down again.
Right, and you're like, whenever you hear stupid people in the stream, you're like, don't run upstairs. That's the dumbest idea you could ever do.
Literally,
He's gonna draw you up there.
Right.
Tico's gonna follow you up there. Don't try to fight him with the switchblade. Oh, don't try to shoot him with the gun. Oh, come on.
God, this idiot.
Come on, you know that if the gun is past Tico's head, your ass is dead. Why would you try to shoot at him? Why would you try to fire shots after being let into the stream all passive aggressive and shit? Oh, Drake looking, oh fucking beard, LeBron James beard looking ass.
Yeah, like Drizzy Drake looking ass motherfucker, crying on a track ass bitch ass nigga.
Like, let me clarify something. It's like, geez, dude. It's like, I don't even understand, man.
And that's simply what it is. Like, I'm typically a dick when I need to be a dick. If I don't need to be a dick, I won't be a dick. And that's simply, you either have to accept it or you have to basically run away from it. So, even if you run away from it, it's still going to get you. You're not going to like it. It's like, fuck you, Tico. But he was right. Like, but he was right. I hate to hear it that way, but he was right. And it's simply how I deliver it. It's all about my delivering. It's all about my delivery, and it's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of times when people get eager, they say something and they want to take it back, whereas like it'd be different than
just one thing. If you take it back, if you take it back, I'll be fine with it. If you don't take it back and you still want to run with the stupid idea that you came out your fucking mouth,
this is who I am.
I'm going to tear you apart. I'm going to be a savage animal to you in a stream. I don't give a damn if it's your stream, my stream, Mr. Foreman's stream,
because like I feel
Hammerhand stream. I'm going to tear you apart if you say some stupid shit in their streams, basically. And typically, and I'm not saying they say stupid stuff. I'm saying basically, if you come into their stream and you say some stupid stuff, I'm probably going to be the savage animal in the stream. I'm going to be Jack the Ripper in the stream, basically. I'm going to cut you, slice you, stab you, mutilate your body in the stream, basically. It's going to be to the point where, like, Hammerhand's going to be in the stream like, well, Tico, I can't invite you back. You just murder niggas in my stream, nigga. I'm going to need you to chill out, brother.
Brother?
I'm going to need you to chill out, brother. Damn, it wasn't that serious.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. It's good morning somewhere. Hammerhand, the big Tao monk. Back at it. One more time.
One more again.
He literally said today, he's like, y'all acting like some ignorant ass niggas or something. He said something like that. I was like, dang, Hammerhand. But it's like, that's another thing too. It's like, a lot of stuff doesn't bother me anymore. A lot of stuff never bothered me.
He said you're always blunt. You're like a steel pipe, Tico. Thanks.
Oh shit! I'm probably making a lot of noise. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, guys, for making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that don't bother me. Like, don't get me wrong, I am OCD when it comes to certain stream stuff. But like, being in a stream with people who a lot of, like, somebody thinks is a racist or somebody thinks is like homophobic or something because they say the word, like, you know, say the F word or whatever. We all know which word we're talking about, but it's like that stuff is literally such a non sequitur, or such an excuse for not listening to somebody, that it reminds me of the debate. You know, it reminds me of like this back to childish games. It's like if you would just listen to what somebody had to say, you wouldn't have to have like the freaking conversation that's been had, trillions of times in this country, which is the conversations about race.
True.
And it's like, I hate having the conversation about race because everybody always has the exact same mentality, and none of them ever want to move on and actually do something about the situation. They always want to just say, well, we're disenfranchised and we need help, and no one's been here to help us. Everybody's always judged us. And it's like, well, okay, what are you doing about the situation to actually fix
The
the
situation.
situation?
Yeah, I know. Because everybody wants to talk about how they're disenfranchised, but nobody actually ever wants to fix the actual situation to better the situation to get themselves out of the situation.
Well, they
And
all
that's
want
typically the
out
question.
too.
And that's
They
typically
can't say
that's,
that they want to chill when they want out and they want to be.
yeah. And the sad
And
part
it's
about
it,
that
it
is
would
I'm
be
going.
like saying I'm black pilled, but it's like, but you're not ready to leave the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, you're
That's
not.
like, and that's what exactly it is with black people. Like they always say we all have to people like we don't help each other out when it's like the way that they move. They don't like to associate with people, especially not like-minded, smart, intelligent, and rationally thinking people. They typically want to date like black women typically want to date the unsuccessful drug dealer. I
Yeah,
forget who said
basically.
that. The one who barely sells any.
Yeah,
It sells weed and like some oxycontins. Wait, who said that? Oh, who said that? Oxycontin, weed and oxycontins. Is that RPM? Oh no, I
it
forget who
probably was.
said
It might have been. I know I did do a live stream about that anyway, but I typically say, when I say something to the extent of like, a CNA and a drug dealer is not a power couple. That's what I said in that one. But yeah,
that. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
like a CNA and a drug dealer is not a power couple. Like, let it go. Like, really, let it
Oh, oh,
go.
oh! It was Austria Dick because he was talking about this girl, black girl who had hairy ass arms, who was just like, I'm not gonna lower my standards, and it was just he was just talking about the hypocrisy and just he explained it very very well, but he was like saying how that just explaining that whole dynamic
Mm-hmm.
of how like the like black women they oh, I went on a date and he was I think I'm like 5'4" and he was like 5'6" and I was like, girl, like ew, like what if and oh my god, I mean that kind of stuff. It even though I've never actually experienced it, that kind of blatant stupidity, that stuff does still kind of bother me because it's just like, okay, you want to complain about like a guy who's just boring, and yet you're willing to settle for this dude who is just marginally exciting, like just barely cracks the is just got a pinky toe in the game, as Tico would say.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a pinky toe in the game.
Yeah, he's not even in the game yet. He's flirting with being in the game and shit like that. You talk about dating this motherfucker. All because you smoke weed. And that's simply what it usually is. She smoked weed, he smoked weed. I'm gonna sell weed. And I typically say to that, don't sell what you use. Never sell what you use. If you're gonna sell drugs, never sell what you use. Is typically what I say about that. And that's always been one of those things. That's always been one of those things where like it always bothered me to the point where I watch a lot of people do stupid shit like that. It's like, and you wonder why you're not making any money because you're smoking the shit, you dumb fuck. It's like there's no money in weed. Well, quit smoking half of it, and you will have money for weed. You dumbass bitch.
Yeah, that's
There's no money
definitely
in
true.
weed, especially if I sold it to you for $90. Especially if I sold you a zip for $90, you could make some money off of a zip, little fuck. Like, act like you got some sense to quit smoking half of it, and maybe you can make some money off of it.
Yeah. No comment on that one. No comment on that one as well.
Because
We're gonna move on
people
from
do
that.
some stupid shit. I sold you a $90 zip, and you want to smoke half the shit, and you wonder why you ain't got no fucking money at the end of it. You
We ain't
dumb.
gonna, we ain't gonna talk about that right now. You're
We
just gonna move
talk
on from
about
that.
that.
Tico, shut up, Tico. Can I get a vitamin check for the straight black crowd? Oh my gosh. Oh, I never got a single fucking uh, check. What is it called? Those
What do you mean?
the entitlement checks.
Uh, you mean entitlement? I
Oh,
don't know. Yeah,
stimulus check.
stimulus check.
Stimulus
Yeah.
check. I never got any of those.
Mm.
And it is what it is. I mean, those were basically meant to appease people, but down the line we're still in lockdown, and so it's already
What the fuck are
almost
you
over.
spending it on?
Exactly. It's probably all gone. All that money is
Oh yeah,
gone.
definitely. All that money is gone. Ain't nobody saved none of that money. People are too much fucking idiots to save money.
Exactly.
Shit. Let them bastards that gave me a stimulus check. I'd have flipped that shit several times.
Oh my god.
I'd be a fucking cartel, US cartel shit like
I
that.
would have a
Like,
jet. I would have a jet
I would
plane.
have a private jet if they'd have gave me two of them stimulus checks. It'd be a wrap. I would definitely have a private jet then. Like, where the fuck did he get this money from? None of your business. Lockdown, bitches.
I'll
Lockdown
be
money
sitting in
making.
the church. I'll be sitting in the church. I can only imagine
Right? When this day is
when
up.
that jet comes. I'll be
Right?
in my jet.
Right? You damn right. You damn right. Yeah. I will flip
Those.
that shit multiple times. And you know who my children's grandfather is? Oh yeah, I will flip that shit multiple times.
Mr. Forma, I just keep thinking about a clip from the debate where Kamal's like smiling ear to ear, and she's like, "I'm actually speaking right now." So, and she's like asking Pence. She's like looking at Pence, smiling like, "I'm speaking. A woman is speaking right now."
Did she
Like
actually
this.
say that?
Yeah, she's like, no, not a woman, but she just said, "I'm speaking." Like that's like she's just so condescending to the. She's just being a fucking prick.
Yeah, simply how it works. You wonder why nobody likes your asses.
Exactly. And she doesn't do the mature thing and say like, Pence has a lot of good points, but he fails to recognize this. It's like, no, if he fails to recognize something, then both of you guys fail to recognize something, and both of you guys are taking an L on this, basically. That's how I see it. Because you guys aren't even willing to acknowledge that there's something that you guys don't know, which is a huge glaring problem. I mean, at least Mike Pence is more smooth about the shit. He's like,
Yeah,
you know,
he was
so I can
definitely petty
actually.
about that shit.
Oh, of course. Like we said, he's like, bum 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 bum
He
bum.
definitely James Bond the hell out of that shit.
Kamala Harris, you're a bitch. Dum, dum, dum.
Right?
Yeah. Or like, let the Biden fall when it crumbles.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know.
And that's just tough.
Yeah. I don't really know I don't really know how it's gonna turn out, but yeah, I can't complain because I'm not gonna be voting. I missed my chance. So.
Yeah, what the October 5th was their last chance to register to vote, I think.
Mhm. Mhm.
You might could get lucky. You might get lucky and trick a Democrat into let you vote, and they might register you very quickly.
Right now, I'm more concerned with getting my passport stamped than getting my voter registration card.
Okay, there's always that too. Do you got your passport?
Yeah, I've been had my passport.
I wonder what would happen if everybody traveled outside the country
Like I said, they would.
the day of election day.
Ooh,
Like they
I'd be
all went to the
ready.
polls and voted early, and they all left the country basically on a
Oh
flight.
my gosh. Oh my
That would
gosh.
be funny as fuck.
It's like in like half of the votes for Donald Trump actually expatriated the same day that they were cast. So all the Trump supporters are actually around the world. Like Donald Trump is worldwide. Wide.
Donald Trump is
Wide.
really real wide,
Wide.
like
Wide.
Big Tal. Worldwide.
Like Step Brothers. Prestige. Worldwide. Wide.
Right? Right?
Boats and hoes.
Worldwide.
If you got
Grabbing them
boats
by
and
the
hoes,
pussy.
you got boats and
Worldwide.
hoes, definitely black pilled. Not now that I think about it, being on a boat would be pretty black pilled because you could fish.
Not really.
Uh,
Not really.
I would always think about that. Like, how do you actually like stay warm and everything? You kind of have to have like
Well,
electricity.
if you live on an actual boat or a yacht or yachty boat type thing where you can actually sleep on, it'll stay warm itself for the fact that you have to pretty much repair shit. Now, if you're on a rowboat, that's a whole nother story.
Now I'm gonna survive on a rowboat. Yes.
I can survive on a rowboat.
What would you use to stay warm?
A blanket.
Okay, well, we didn't establish that there was a blanket on the rowboat, but we'll go with this. We'll go with this.
I'm taking a blanket on a rowboat. What the hell is your problem? A fire retardant blanket. Just in case somebody decided to set fire to my rowboat.
Or lightning strikes you in the middle of the ocean. You got to be
Mm-hmm.
prepared for anything. You got
Mm-hmm.
to be prepared.
So if I'm gonna get a piece of driftwood, I'm gonna float the rest of the way on a rowboat with my blanket. Or a fire retardant blanket.
Well, okay. I mean, think about it. Once 3D printing, once you can make like just like a 3D print gun,
You can
you
make
can
that
pretty
now.
much what a gun that can
Yeah.
3D. No, I'm
You
talking
can,
about a gun that can 3D print like, you just like say, oh, I want to make this, and you
yeah, you
just
can make
point.
M16. You can 3D print an M16 and have a whole ass M16 in your hand when it's
No, you're
all
not
said and
listening.
done.
You're not listening. You can 3D print anything with the gun, with the device. You just like point it at something and you
Oh,
can
you're talking
3D
about an
print.
actual device. You're actually talking about a handheld device where you can 3D print shit. Gotcha.
Because then you could black pill anywhere. You could just pick up all your shit and just leave. Just be like, all right.
Question is the problem with that though is what if that device runs out of power?
Yeah.
My
Or
point
like,
exactly.
what kind of energy does it use? If it
If it
uses
uses
0 point energy.
or like if it uses batteries, can you make the batteries so you can actually put in the new batteries?
hmm Or like, how
What's the
could you
point of having a
power it?
gun? What's the point of having a gun if you can't really make batteries? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. hmm Yeah. Or if you had a spaceship.
Yeah. The question is, do you have a crew to fix it?
Be like, oh, spaceship. You're pretty much just asking for aliens to come and rob your ass.
Like at that point, do you have a crew to fix it and operate it? Do you have a crew for life support? Do you have a crew for health? You have the person to run the healthcare portion of it, basically, just in case somebody gets injured on a ship. Do you have any of these people? What's the point of having a fucking ship then?
What's up, EW? Thanks for coming to the stream.
It's Weber,
It's
Mr. Weber.
it's original. Last thing we need is a copyright strike. Why is this wet? But yeah. Oh my gosh. Pence, Kamala
But
Harris.
it's just stuff like that people got to actually start thinking about. Like, okay, this stuff sounds great, but who's there to fix it?
Oh, what? Yeah, like a SpaceX. Like, oh, I'm Team Elon.
Okay, so if everybody's dead and you're the one on a ship, who's fixing it?
Exactly. It's like, oh, like the AI system automates everything. Like Wally, like the Axiom in Wally. You know.
Yeah, but the AI system does that. Who's fixing the AI system when it goes down? Them?
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Simple as hell. Who's fixing it when it
Ah,
goes down? Who's fixing the AI when it goes down?
well, it's designed to. Oh, when the AI goes down, well,
Mm-hmm.
there's one guy. There's one guy who who gets woken up.
Okay, if you're the only one on the ship, how you waking that guy up?
Well, then you got the movie Passengers where it's like the Chris Pratt, he wakes up and he's just like, fuck, I'm supposed to be frozen this whole time. Then he's fucked. Then he's like, he is screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true. And Edub said he didn't watch the debate. You didn't really miss much, man. So don't worry about it.
You definitely didn't miss anything.
The
There's a
only
whole
thing
lot
you
of
missed is
flailing.
Mike. Only thing you missed is Mike Pence, like looking just super OG, just being like, "Whoa, that's not true. That's not true."
You pretty much missed Pence being James Bond, basically.
And then my favorite thing from Pence was him being like, "Thank you for bringing up your prosecution history. Thank you. Thank you. We should definitely talk about that more." And then
Right?
my favorite thing from Kamala Harris was when the moderator said after Pence spoke for like a minute response, she was like, "That's a great segue to the topic," and then Kamala Harris immediately was like, that's a great segue," and it's like, bitch, how do you know what the segue is? That's how you know that she knows how the debate's supposed to go. So it was all scripted. So you can
Yeah.
probably catch snippets of it on the next debate because they'll probably recycle talking points
Oh,
because
definitely.
none of the motherfuckers know how to be original or handle any information with like any sort of tact, except for Mike
Mike
Pence.
Pence. That's it. He was like the
He's
only
the mo-
person that he's the
yeah,
most professional out of everybody in the damn debates.
exactly. I think he
Mm-mm-mm.
should just go off and start his own little like colony or start his own
Literally.
little country. It's just like
I would actually follow Mike Pence.
Pence Rulia,
Pence
the
Rulia.
kingdom of Pence Rulia.
I'm there.
Exactly. I'm a homestead on the Pence Rulia. It's gonna be like
Bob will fix it for $50. Who's Bob? And where's Bob at in space?
dilithium crystals cost
Dilithium.
5,000 gold. Yeah, if you're a Lombax, then you can be black pilled. As long as you have Clank. As long as you have Clank, then you guys can explore the galaxy together. It would be nice to like explore the galaxy. I mean, granted, you have to be living in the lap of luxury to be able to like
Not
have a
necessarily.
spaceship and like a flight crew or a flight
Not
AI or
necessarily, because the
something.
sad part about that is, because I've been thinking about this, and I've heard people talking about it, but they never really thought about it like this. Because I remember one time they said, well, the elites are going to kill us off. Why don't you just send people into space to go explore space? They'll eventually die. Do you send more people to space to go explore what they did? Do you send
Or
more
like,
people in space to go do what they did? Do you send
or
more
like
people in space to go do what they
that
did?
stupid scene from Relativity or from Interstellar, where
Mm-hmm.
they realize after like going back to the space station, the black guy's gotten like 30 years older,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, "You knew about relativity." And it's like they kind of like retcon this silly like segue into the rest of the movie where he goes into a black hole and it's really like an apparatus for communicating, like interdimensional beings communicating with themselves. It's just like such a weird movie. Christopher Nolan's it's a weird guy, but it's like yeah, if you could get far enough away from the Earth, you just need to chill for like a few seconds, and then when you go back, everybody will be dead.
Yeah, literally.
Or like just sit right next to a black hole for like 30 minutes and go back, and then like just the entire civilized world will be in ruins.
True story. Because the sad part about that, if they really want to kill people, all they got to do is send people into space to go explore space. Then send some more people into space to go explore that. Then send some people for that. Then send some people for that. And send them in teams. Matter of fact, you can freeze the other half, and you can freeze one half, and you can leave the other half awake, basically, and send them into space. And whenever that half dies off, you basically release the time chamber for the other ones to be unfrozen, basically, at the end of the day. So it's one of those things where you keep on doing it until you figure out where the heck you're looking for in space.
Yeah, it's almost like an airlock. Like the world is its own airlock. You just open up the airlock, you send some people out, they just get sucked into the vacuum of space.
Hmm.
That's what happened. That's the story of the Outer Worlds. They're like,
Well,
oh,
no,
we're sending this
I'm not
amazing.
talking about getting sucked into outer worlds of space. I'm talking about like you send a team of people up in space in a spaceship, and you basically freeze half of them, and you leave the other half awake, basically, or you freeze all of them for a certain amount of time, and you let them up like based on like in increments, basically. Like the first group's getting up, the whole entire team in the first group is getting up in about like 6 months. The rest of the teams are getting up into probably like 7, 8, 9, 10 years. You see what I'm saying? So you keep on like releasing the next group of teams every so often, or you wake up a team, you put another team back in cryo.
Yeah,
It's pretty much how it works.
cryo sleep is would definitely solve a lot of people's problems because a lot of people want to live, they just don't want to live in the here and now. They want to wait till everything gets good, and then they want to be like, now, then I want to live. It's like they say about women. They say like, women don't build, they just move in.
Basically, yeah. That's why you
So it's
send women
like,
up in a spaceship too.
and that's what women think. Women think that the whole entire time they're riding the cock carousel, that their ass is like Snow White in the fucking cryo sleep, or like Sleeping Beauty,
Hmm.
and their ass never aged a single day, and they just get to be that like cockless, just beautiful specimen. Meanwhile, they're getting ran through by Chad and Tyrone, and then like
Ray, Guido, and
Pookie, Ray Ray, Juan Tyrone,
hmm
Filipino Pookie, and just like just getting ran through.
basically, yeah.
And then they just want to be like, oh, white men. It's like, come on, man, you really want to really trying to like, if it's not black women dissing black men, it's white women dissing white men. That's basically all we have in this country in terms of drama. I mean,
True story.
the Hispanic women, especially the ones like, because I realize that Mexico is kind of like the northern territory of like that whole entire Central and South America. So they're
Yeah, it is.
like the northernmost, yeah, and they're like the most loyal. I think because when I look around, I see a lot of Mexican families that are very tightly knit, and they're very traditional. The woman doesn't work, or she does. Like she does a job, and she actually brings home some money, which like actually relieves stress for the husband.
Literally.
So he's not
Right. Matter of
busting
fact,
his
there's a running joke.
ass.
There's a running joke. Matter of fact, MGTOW Life had a running joke in a text message that he sent me. He goes, "Man, these Mexican women. We got women in America claiming that they could be equal to men. We got these Mexican women out here literally doing the same damn jobs as men. They cartel leaders. They mob bosses. They doing all this extra shit.
Well,
They shooting guns with the men.
I
Yeah,
saw
it's
a
like
Mexican woman. She was like ripping up tile for a remodel, just like taking a big ass like chisel and
mhm.
just like hammering that shit and
The
like
sad part about that, Mexican
wiping the
women do.
sweat from her brow, and she
The
was
sad
just
part
like
about that,
going ham.
that's something I always found funny about women in America. They talk about what they can do, but Mexican women actually just do it.
No, it's funny because then literally like one of the wait, first generation would be one of like the third or fourth generation Mexican people that I also saw. They're like leisurely performing their job,
Yeah,
sitting
literally.
around Snapchat, Instagram, scrolling. Oh my god, I'm so tired. It's like come on, you got this person over here busting their ass. Meanwhile, you're sitting there acting all like entitled, like you're some stuck up white bitch. It's like, come on, you gotta get down and work like homegirl over here.
Hmm.
Like it's not that hard. It is not that hard.
And this is typically why there's a difference between Mexicans that are Mexicans from the old world and Mexicans in America. Like typically, you don't want to date a Mexican from America. It is what it is. For that reason, you just don't want to date one.
Yeah, and I said they won't go back. They will not go back. They will not go down to be where all these black people that they just I care about the blacks. They will never want to live in that situation.
And all the
They
white
will
women
stay.
that talk about how much they care about blacks are the most racist group of people in the whole entire world. They ain't finna date a black. They ain't finna be with a black person. They ain't finna do none of that shit. They finna talk about a white man while sitting in a hot tub right next to a white man, while drinking champagne with a white man. Like, how do
Yeah.
you hate white men when that white guy's the one that's actually funding your life? Maybe some of these white men need to stop funding these bitches' lives. Maybe they'd be a lot better human beings if they didn't get their lives funded for all intents and purposes.
Well, they're a lot less likely to, eat the crow and have to live by their belief system if they have
Yeah,
somebody that's like,
literally taking care of them and got
yeah,
finances out the ass, basically.
have paid scientists to do market research to get them to spend all of their hard-earned money on just
Bullshit.
plants, yeah, and fucking just like food holders and containers and credenzas and
I think
fucking candle
credenza. This
and
motherfucker over here talking about
fucking
credenza,
candles and
right?
shit. It's like, oh, you're buying a pumpkin spice candle. That's a great investment. Great investment.
Defend
But
them. Defund them both, Karen and Becky. I think my Psyche Soap said it best. When they're younger, they're Becky. When they get start getting middle aged, they're Karen. When they get older, they're Susan. When they get older than that, they're somebody Gertrude.
Gertrude. Hmm.
So they go from Becky to Karen to Susan to Gertrude.
Hmm.
Them's the rules according to Psyche Soap.
Yeah, Mr. Forma mentioned that they got that Netflix is being sued for cuties, or Netflix is facing
Yeah, they are.
backlash for cuties.
Yeah, they are.
Oh.
Apparently, the Texas Supreme Court took them to court.
Texas, no sweetheart. Hey,
I vote for Betty Crocker. This guy.
hey, I know we're going pretty well, but if you want to drop the link, it's no sweat off my back. I would actually like to hear from the brothers if you guys wanted to. It's late. It's late as fuck, so we could just
Yeah.
end it if they're not going to jump in right away.
Oh, trust me, they'll jump in.
Hey guys, Mega Man here. Did somebody say Joker? It's
Right?
like, it's like, nigga, it
It
is
came out of
4
nowhere.
a.m. It's like, nigga, it is 4 a.m. It is
However, I
literally
will say this: Joker does drop videos at 4 a.m., so I will give him that.
true. True story. True, he does.
He drops videos I think he drops like 3 or 4 videos a day.
Hi.
I'm debating. We should just call it.
All right. Well, this has been another Baron and Sadist going much longer than the past ones. We've been kind of dragging these out, but it's because they're so good, and hopefully you guys think it's good.
Oh, speaking of which, SE said that last Baron Sadist was really, really good. By the way, he complimented you on that. He said that
I'm
Yam
honored.
guy.
I
He
am
said
so
that
honored.
Yam guy. I was cracking up. It's like nice.
Now, SCE, was that his cut up body in that picture that Hammerhand posted, or was that
Yeah, that
Venture?
was his cut. That was his body.
Oh my gosh, was successful, man. Much love to you, bro. Hopefully you're getting better by the millisecond, because
Oh,
dang,
trust me,
man,
he's in live stream, so obviously he's getting better.
that's
He's been in
awesome.
live
That's
streams lately.
awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully you when like you fully recover and then some, dude, because I know that you do stuff behind the scenes that I don't ever get to see because I'm too busy shit posting in the comments, but I do. I try. Definitely try to just be, the best representation of, the red pill, MGTOW, the manosphere, the cat down the road, Ralph Smart, like I just try to be the
Fine,
best
I'll ask him
version
to
of.
let you in the fucking. I'll ask him to let you in the server. Damn, you ain't got to kiss ass. I'll ask him for you. Good Lord, this kid.
I don't need a roasting a bear yam. All right, I do get roasted. As it is, and it's too early for a formal roast.
No,
I
I said
gotta get
I'll tell him to let you in the server. Damn, if you really want in that server that badly, shit.
I mean, sure, fine. I'm kissing ass. I'm not kissing ass.
Kissing
I'm
a
not kissing
lot
anybody's
of
ass.
ass right
No,
now. He's like,
I
pucker up.
notice a lot of people say that's what a lot of people say because I feel like they know that he could just like you just call a hit out on somebody if you really wanted to. So I'm trying to hedge my bets. In the MGTOW community, there's a lot of gods,
Actually, I'm more
wrathful
likely.
gods.
No, see, the problem is though, I'm more likely to call out a hit than he is.
On me though.
If the world goes to shit, yeah. Looks like I'm
Oh
sacrificing
shit!
Yam.
There, nuclear war.
Right, I'm just
Okay,
joking. No,
shit. I
I'm
gotta
just
make sure
joking.
Yam dies.
I'm just joking. I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And
Just
for
real.
all of you guys listening, just know that Tika will sacrifice you guys if he needs to. He will definitely
No, I will
sacrifice
not.
you guys.
Good Lord,
No, I'm kidding.
this guy.
But if you're a troll watching, there'll be a video that's coming out that will just like cleanse you from the channel. Be like, you know what? Fuck this Tico guy. I'm unsubscribing. And you just be like, oh. But other than that, I'm going to take my leave from this stream. I hope everybody's had a good time. I'm gonna sleep in. So, if you guys are sleeping in, that's awesome. If you guys gotta work, good luck working. And don't be discouraged just because you're working. Just always try to be, nonchalant. I take that right out of Tico's handbook. Go clock in, do your thing, act like you're the coolest person in that bitch. And if somebody got something shit to say, look them dead in their face and be like, if you say something wrong, I'm gonna fuck you up. But then,
Right?
always,
Machiavelli.
always be ready. Always be
Machiavelli.
ready to fuck
Pretty
some shit
much.
up. Always be ready to fuck some shit up. You never know. Because like think about it. If shit hits the fan and you're in your job, you got to be ready to just take some shit from there or whatever, or like just I don't know, just go ham, wreak havoc or like just do something. You got to be able to just ghost
I
at
think I'm
the
gonna change my name to Tico and Valley.
Ticavelli.
Tika Valley.
We're gonna just become Yamavellis, and I'll be like in all my videos like, "What up, princes? Today we're gonna talk about some hard shit, how to be feared."
Tico Valley.
But yeah, as Corey Steele says, it's bone. So I'm gonna get out of here. Tico, pass it on to you.
Everybody be blessed. Have a good night. Sleep comfortably. Always be willing to learn and improve yourself, and always be willing to prove upon yourself, and always make yourself a better version of yourself.
Thank you, Tico.
Pretty much treat yourself like milk. I mean, pretty much treat yourself like milk and do nothing but spoil yourselves, basically. And always be willing to be the better version of yourself, and always keep an open mind, and always be willing to learn new things and various things that can help you through life and make you a better person. Y'all be blessed and have a good night. And I was a blessing doing this lovely Baron and Sadist.
And
Don't
accept free shit. Do not accept free shit.
And don't buy no wooden nickels, or don't buy that bridge.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Never
Adios.
get suckered. Never be a sucker.
Definitely never be a sucker. Adios.
Later. Bye, niggas.
Bye, niggas. Bye. Adios.